Chapter 652. Visitors from West Mountain City, 10 minutes of extra time to refine pills? Hearing Peng Ju's words, the 48 martial artists who passed the second round of assessment felt that something was amiss. 10 minutes of extra time to refine a supreme-grade elemental elixir. Didn't that mean that the fourth round of elimination would be extremely cruel? It was highly possible that they would be refining a sixth-grade elixir. Hiss. Thinking of this, the 48 alchemists who were originally excited instantly felt a chill in their hearts. Most of their alchemy skills were between 4th grade and 5th grade. Even advanced 5th grade alchemists were rare. This meant that based on their level of alchemy, they would not be able to refine a 6th grade elixir. However, nothing was absolute. Some of the hidden geniuses in the major alchemy unions were very calm at this moment. The third round of assessment will be provided by the Alchemy Union. However, the alchemy furnace will have to be prepared individually. Peng Ju continued, the third round of assessment will also last for an hour. Everyone, get ready for 5 minutes and start refining the elemental elixir. Buzz buzz. As soon as Peng Ju finished his sentence, the originally quiet plaza became lively once again. TSK. I wonder how many alchemists will be eliminated in the third round. Based on this ratio, I guess around 30 will be eliminated. That's about right. The fourth round should be an elimination round. Any alchemist who can enter the fourth round will be able to hold their own. Let's wait and see. There are many cities in the Great Xia Kingdom and every city has an alchemy union. The third round of assessment will be the time to witness the true strength of the major alchemy unions. The discussions of the crowd entered Ningyu's ears but did not affect Ningyu in the slightest. At this moment, Ningyu was discussing with Li Tongtian and the rest below a round platform. Ningyu, the third round of assessment is to refine the elemental elixir. Are you aiming for the supreme grade elemental elixir? Li Tongtian asked. Actually, Li Tongtian really wanted to refine the supreme grade elemental elixir. After all, if he could refine the supreme grade elemental elixir, he would have an additional 10 minutes to refine pills. To Li Tongtian, 10 minutes was extremely precious. It could even determine if he could refine a 6th grade elixir. It's not as simple as you think. This could be a trap, Ningyu said in a low voice. A trap? What kind of trap could there be? Li Tongtian asked doubtfully. It's very simple. The third and fourth rounds of assessment will be held at the same time. We will only be given a maximum of 10 minutes to rest. Ningyu explained, once we attempt to break through to the transcendent grade essence transformation pill in the third round, even if we succeed, we will definitely consume too much energy and will not be able to quickly recover to our peak state. The alchemy competition is so intense. If I'm not at my peak condition in the fourth round, I'll most likely be eliminated. I see. After listening to Ningyu's explanation, Li Tongtian came to a sudden realization and promptly dismissed the idea of trying to concoct a transcendent-grade primary transformation pill. If he expended too much energy in the third round, he would indeed put himself at a disadvantage. Fengzi, if you have something to say, just say it. There's no need to be restrained with me. Ningyu had wanted to say something to Li Tongtian, but seeing Fengzi's expression, Ningyu said, with our relationship, your business is my business. Ningyu, I want to kill Feng Qiong with my own hand. Fengzi clenched his fists and his face was filled with anger. Feng Qiong killed a few of my brothers. If I don't take revenge, I'm not a human. Hehe, I thought it was something big. It's just a small matter. Ningyu smiled and waved his hand, gesturing for Xikong Ling to bring Feng Qiong over. I'll leave Feng Qiong to you. You can do whatever you want with him. It has nothing to do with me. Ningyu said, as for the 13th prince, you don't have to worry at all. You'll be by my side during this period of time. If the 13th prince dares to make a move on you, I naturally won't stand idly by. Time's up. All the martial artists participating in the third round of assessment, go to the round platform. Just then, Peng Ju's voice rang in the square. The main examiner for the third round of assessment is Elixir King Dan Chunzi. The time limit for the third round of assessment is 1 hour. Swoosh. Swoosh. Actually, the 5 minutes of preparation time that Peng Ju gave everyone was useless. Once the time was up, everyone flew to the round platform. "Let's go too." Ning Yu and Li Tongtian looked at each other, then rose from the ground and rushed to the same round platform. After Ning Yu entered the round platform, he didn't start refining elixirs immediately. Instead, he quietly observed the pill masters on the round platform. Ning Yu was on the 10th round platform. Including him and Li Tongtian, there were a total of 5 pill masters. Among the remaining 3 pill masters, 2 of them were only at the advanced stage of the 4th grade. It would probably be difficult for them to pass this round. The last pill master caught Ning Yu's attention. Something's not right. Ning Yu frowned slightly because he felt a dangerous aura from this pill master. It wasn't that this pill master had a high level of cultivation or a strong soul power. On the contrary, this pill master was only at the advanced stage of the primal core stage, and his soul power was only at the pinnacle of the 4th grade. Logically speaking, with this pill master's cultivation and soul power, Ning Yu didn't even need to use his full strength to defeat him. Since Ning Yu sensed a trace of dangerous aura from him, there was only one explanation, and that was that this alchemist was pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger. Could it be that some old demon has used a disguise technique to participate in the pill refining competition? Suddenly, this thought appeared in Ning Yu's mind. The moment it appeared, he couldn't get rid of it, and it grew stronger and stronger. "Ning Yu, it's time to start refining elixirs. The earlier you can refine the superior grade shifting pill, the more time you have to rest." Seeing that Ning Yu was in a daze, Li Tongtian hurriedly reminded him. "It's fine." Ning Yu waved his hand, telling Li Tongtian not to worry. With Ning Yu's skill in refining elixirs like the shifting pill did not require that much time and could be easily refined. "If I'm not wrong, you should be a core disciple of Danwu College's Sacred Institute, Ning Yu." When Ning Yu was looking at the mysterious pill master, the mysterious pill master was also looking at Ning Yu. The mysterious pill master was the first to break the silence and spoke to Ning Yu. "Let me introduce myself. I am from the West Mountain City. My name is Xie Yang." West Mountain City. Ning Yu's brows raised when he heard this. He had heard of the West Mountain City before. It was a chaotic place in the Xia Kingdom and was rumored to be very dangerous. Some time ago, he even went to the West Mountain City with the 3rd prince, Ouyang Hai. They didn't expect to meet the Spirit Fox team. In the end, the 3rd prince was killed, and the Spirit Fox team was annihilated. It's good that you have heard of it. However, there is one thing that you might not have heard of. Let me tell you. Xie Yang's face was expressionless as he said, in the years that the 13th prince disappeared, he went to many places. His final destination was the West Mountain City. Chapter 653. I'm lying. What does it have to do with me whether the 13th prince has been to West Mountain City or not? Xie Yang's words only caught Ning Yu's attention for a moment, but he did not take it to heart. Even the 13th prince and his 4 yin-yang intermediate stage martial artists were no match for me, let alone a late Yuandan martial artist like you. He, it's all right, it's not that important. Xie Yang smiled and continued, what I wanted to tell you is that there's still a long time before the competition ends. Let's play slowly. Idiot. Ning Yu could not be bothered with Xie Yang. After calling him an idiot, he took out an elixir cauldron and placed it on the stone table. At the same time, he grabbed a medicinal herb with his right hand and threw it into the cauldron. Seeing that Ning Yu had started to concoct elixirs, Xie Yang turned his wrist and did the same thing as Ning Yu. Want to copy me? Ning Yu's lips curled up as he threw the rest of the medicinal herbs into the cauldron. Look. What is Ning Yu doing? Why did he throw all the medicinal herbs into the cauldron? This is a tier 5 yuan elixir. Is Ning Yu planning to use his unique method of concocting elixirs? What unique method? Some martial artists who did not understand asked. What else can it be? Ning Yu's unique method of concocting elixirs. He throws all the medicinal herbs into the cauldron at once. A martial artist who had seen Ning Yu concoct elixirs before explained, although Ning Yu's method of concocting elixirs is unique, it is very effective and fast. I don't believe that Ning Yu can use this method to concoct the yuan elixir. A tier 5 intermediate alchemist snorted. Whoosh. As soon as this Tier 5 intermediate alchemist finished speaking, the area became noisy again. Everyone was shocked. The reason why everyone was surprised this time was not because of Ningyu's unique refining method, but because the other pill master on the same round table as Ningyu had also thrown all the medicinal herbs into the pill furnace. What the hell was going on? Could it be that Ningyu had passed on his unique alchemy method to the alchemist next to him? Gulp. Thinking of this, many martial artists swallowed a mouthful of saliva. If this alchemy method could be spread out, wouldn't it mean that they would also have a chance to learn it? This was a huge temptation. Even if you were a 6th grade pill master, you would definitely not be able to withstand it. Ningyu, I forgot to tell you, when I was in Western Mountain City, the pill I refined the most was the Yuan transformation pill. My control over it has already reached the point of perfection. Xie Yang looked at Ningyu provocatively and said, if I refine all the herbs together, I have an 80% chance of refining a mid-grade origin melting pill. Sigh, in the past, I did not believe that there were idiots in this world. Hearing Xie Yang's provocative words, Ningyu sighed softly and said lightly, now I believe it. You can instinctively refine a high-grade or even a transcendent-grade Yuan transformation pill, but you act like an idiot and want to refine a mid-grade Yuan transformation pill. What do you mean? Xie Yang said coldly. Nothing, you will know when you see it. Ningyu shrugged, then reached into the pill furnace and took out the storage bag. Looking at the storage bag in Ningyu's hand, Xie Yang was dumbfounded and could not believe his eyes. After all this time, Ningyu did not throw all the medicinal herbs into the pill furnace. I knew it. Ningyu could not be so stupid. That's right, the Yuan transformation pill is a 5th grade pill. His unique alchemy method should not be suitable. I don't know whether it is suitable or not, I only know that the alchemist threw all the medicinal herbs into the pill furnace. Swoosh. The last cultivator's words directly attracted everyone's attention to Xie Yang. Everyone wanted to see if Xie Yang could refine a Yuan transformation pill using this method. Good luck. Ningyu smiled at Xie Yang, and then a wisp of blue flame appeared on the fingertips of his right hand and began to burn the bottom of the furnace. Following that, Ningyu unhurriedly placed the medicinal herbs into the pill furnace. This is infuriating. Xie Yang was so angry that his whole body was trembling. If this wasn't an alchemy competition, he would have taught Ningyu a lesson. He was tricked. Ever since he left West Mountain City, this was the first time he was tricked. Want to see me make a fool of myself? How could it be so easy? Taking a deep breath, Xie Yang thought to himself, even if I use this method, I can easily refine a Yuan transformation pill. Hehe, interesting, very interesting. On the high platform, Ancestor Demonic Jew's eyes slowly swept across the 10 round platforms, finally landing on the demonic eye. A faint smile appeared on Ancestor Demonic Jew's face when he saw Xie Yang's violent alchemy method. Ancestor Demonic Jew didn't doubt Xie Yang's ability to refine a Yuan transformation pill. What he was curious about was what grade of Yuan transformation pill Xie Yang could refine. In the past, Danwu College also had a peerless alchemy Dao genius, a holy prince from the previous batch. That holy prince also used this method to refine a Yuan transformation pill, and it was a high-grade one at that. If Xie Yang could refine a high-grade Yuan transformation pill, it meant that his talent in the alchemy Dao was comparable to the previous batch's holy prince. President Peng, the alchemist next to Ningyu, where does he come from? Ancestor Demonic Jew calmly asked. Xie Yang. Peng Ju's eyes were sharp and immediately noticed Xie Yang. Thinking for a moment, he said, Xie Yang comes from West Mountain City, representing West Mountain City's alchemy union to participate in the alchemy competition. West Mountain City. Ancestor Demonic Jew frowned slightly. He had heard of the chaotic West Mountain City and had even come into contact with the strongest master there. However, as far as he knew, West Mountain City's martial Dao was more prosperous, while its alchemy Dao was on the decline. For an alchemy Dao genius like Xie Yang to appear in West Mountain City, it was beyond Ancestor Demonic Jew's expectations. What is it? Peng Ju asked in confusion. Nothing much. There are several good seedlings in this alchemy competition. After the competition ends, I want to ask them if they have any thoughts of joining Danwu College. Ancestor Demonic Jew waved his hand and said, "President Peng, you wouldn't mind, right?" "Of course not, of course not," Peng Ju said, but his heart was filled with hatred. It would be strange if he didn't mind. That old fart is clearly trying to snatch geniuses from the alchemy union. How could it be so easy? Haha, it's good that you don't mind. Someone should be able to complete the pill soon. Ancestor Demonic Jew naturally knew what Peng Ju was thinking. Instead of getting angry, he smiled. That should be impossible, right? Only 20 minutes have passed since the third round. Who would have the ability to refine a Yuan transformation pill? Peng Ju didn't believe it. To refine a Yuan transformation pill in 20 minutes, even if it was a low-grade Yuan transformation pill, it wasn't easy. One had to know that even an ordinary mid-6th grade alchemist might not be able to do it. Peng. At this time, a crisp sound rang out from the first round stage. Peng. Peng. Chapter 654. Chapter 654, Refining the Rules. A few voices rang out from the round platform, causing Peng Ju's mouth to widen slightly as a grave expression appeared on his face. To be able to refine the energy transformation pill in 20 minutes. Putting aside the grade of the pill, just the amount of time required was already amazing enough. Suddenly, Peng Ju's expression changed. He realized that there were sounds of pills being formed on all 9 platforms, except for the 10th platform. The reason why Peng Ju was puzzled was because the alchemists on the 10th round table were a little special. There was Ning Yu, Li Tongtian, and Xie Yang from West Mountain City. Logically speaking, with these 3 alchemy geniuses around, it was impossible for no one to refine the energy transformation pill in 20 minutes. Only an idiot would refine the energy transformation pill in such a short time, Li Tongtian murmured as he glanced around. After listening to Ning Yu's explanation, Li Tongtian had learned his lesson. He could have also refined the energy transformation pill in 20 minutes, but he did not do so. If he purely focused on speed, he would definitely expend a lot of his soul energy. This would be very disadvantageous to him when he was refining the grade 6 pill later. Since he was going to pass the test anyway, there was no difference between a little earlier and a little later. Of course, the prerequisite was that he did not refine a supreme grade energy transformation pill. Otherwise, he would have an additional 10 minutes to refine the pill. When the remaining alchemists saw that someone had successfully refined the energy transformation pill, they increased their speed. In the following period of time, there would be one or a few alchemists refining the pill every few minutes. Ning Yu observed these alchemists who had completed their pills for a while and discovered that the Yuan transformation pills they had refined were all of the lower grade. Only a few of them had refined a middle-grade Yuan transformation pill. Zhao Kui is quite smart. He knows not to expend too much energy in the early stages. When Ning Yu's gaze landed on Zhao Kui, he was slightly surprised. "Ning Yu, wait for me in the 4th round." Zhao Kui seemed to see Ning Yu looking at him. He turned to look at Ning Yu and raised 4 fingers. "Let's compete to see who can refine the pill first." Ning Yu raised his eyebrows and smirked. At the same time, he slammed his right hand on the cauldron. Whoosh! In a split second, a pill burst out from the cauldron and landed firmly in Ning Yu's hand. Zhao Kui snorted coldly when he saw Ning Yu's action. He also slapped the cauldron with his right hand and produced a round pill. Zhao Kui had a very complacent expression on his face as he waved the upper-grade energy transformation pill in his hand, as if he was saying, "I concocted an upper-grade energy transformation pill." "What grade are you concocting?" Ning Yu did not take Zhao Kui's provocation to heart. Instead, he placed the origin melting pill on the table and slowly walked down from the round platform. Bang! Ning Yu had just walked down from the round platform when Li Tongtian had just finished concocting the elemental transformation pill. The quality was not too high, it was just a low-grade pill. "Ning Yu, do you think that martial artist can refine the Yuan converting pill?" After Li Tongtian walked down the stage, he immediately started chatting with Ning Yu. The crux of their conversation was Xie Yang. According to my observations, he should have no problem refining the Yuan converting pill. Ning Yu said. "Although he appears to be a peak 4th grade alchemist, I have a feeling that he is pretending to be weak. In reality, He is at least an early-stage 6th grade alchemist. An early-stage 6th grade alchemist? Li Tongtian frowned slightly, a little shocked. Since when did a 6th grade alchemist become so cheap? Any random person could be a 6th grade alchemist. This made him, the fake holy son of Danwu College, feel very hurt. More or less, he might even be a middle-stage 6th grade alchemist. Ning Yu nodded. He is a formidable opponent, Li Tongtian said in a low voice. I just wonder what grade of energy transformation pill he can refine. Rumble. As soon as Li Tongtian finished his sentence, Xie Yang slapped the cauldron hard on the round platform. In an instant, the lid of the cauldron flew up and a round pill shot out from the cauldron. Smack. Xie Yang's hands moved quickly and he caught the pill firmly in his hand. Middle stage energy transformation pill? In the instant that the energy transformation pill flew out of the cauldron, Ning Yu discovered its true grade. Middle stage. Using such a crazy method of refining pills, Xie Yang was actually able to refine a middle stage energy transformation pill. He really had some skills. Swoosh. When the crowd in the square saw that Xie Yang had not only successfully refined the energy transformation pill, but that it had also reached the middle stage, they were all shocked. The talent that Xie Yang had displayed was probably enough to rank him in the top 5 among all the people present. Whoosh. Xie Yang had successfully refined the energy transformation pill at the 50th minute. In the remaining 10 minutes, a few more alchemists had successfully refined their pills. Time's up. At the 60th minute, Dan Chunzi announced in a clear voice, all alchemists, leave the round platform immediately. I will begin to inspect the pills that you have refined. Swoosh. Swoosh. Hearing Dan Chunzi's words, the martial artists who did not manage to refine the energy transformation pill within the allotted time revealed looks of disappointment. Actually, it was no wonder that they were disappointed. This was because once they entered the 4th round, they would receive a generous reward from Danwu College. Danwu College was a colossus. The reward that they would give would definitely not be bad. Dan Chunzi did not care about the disappointed expressions of these alchemists. He split his soul perception and began to inspect the authenticity of the energy transformation pill that everyone had refined. After a while, Dan Chunzi said in a deep voice, there are a total of 16 martial artists who have successfully refined the energy transformation pill. Unfortunately, speaking up to this point, Dan Chunzi paused for a moment before continuing. Among these energy transformation pills, the best quality is high grade. There are no transcendent grade energy transformation pills. Therefore, in the 4th round of elimination, no one will be able to obtain an additional 10 minutes. Without further ado, I will now introduce the rules of the 4th round. Dan Chunzi's voice contained some yuan energy, causing everyone in the square to hear it clearly. The 4th round is the elimination round. It will be a one-on-one refining of pills. The rules are very simple. The loser will be directly eliminated. Whoosh. Dan Chunzi's words had just landed when the crowd burst into an uproar. The loser would be directly eliminated. This rule was simply too cruel. One could imagine that if 2 exceptional alchemy geniuses were to meet each other, wouldn't they be at a disadvantage? President Peng, I suggest we change this rule. On the high platform, old ancestor Demonic Jew lightly said, the rules are heartless. In my opinion, the 4th round will continue to refine grade 5 energy transformation pills. The loser will be directly eliminated, but if the loser can refine a transcendent grade energy transformation pill within the allotted time, he can still smoothly advance to the next round. Saying so, old ancestor Demonic Jew did not wait for Peng Ju's approval and immediately sent a soul message to Dan Chunzi, expressing his thoughts. Dan Chunzi's face was filled with black lines as he turned to look at Peng Ju. Peng Ju's expression was gloomy, and his heart was filled with anger. Originally, he wanted to use the rules to eliminate the several fake holy princes of Danwu College one by one, but now it seemed that his plan had failed. Although he was furious, Peng Ju still nodded to Dan Chunzi, indicating that he would follow old ancestor Demonic Ju's suggestion. In line with the principle of humanization, the 4th round will still be refining energy transformation pills. The allotted time is 1 hour. Dan Chunzi took a deep breath and said, in this 1 hour, Whoever refines an energy transformation pill first will directly advance to the next round. Chapter 655. Chapter 655, A Trap? Ningyu's brows furrowed. He could refine a supreme-grade transformation pill, but he didn't want to expose himself too early in the elimination round. Ningyu, why is there a need to refine a supreme-grade transformation pill in the elimination round? Li Tongtian couldn't understand. Logically speaking, each round should be harder than the previous one, but the current rules didn't seem to show any difficulty. There's no problem refining any pill. The supreme-grade transformation pill is a 5th-grade pill. It's much easier to refine compared to 6th-grade pills. Ningyu continued, later on, you can see who your opponent is. If you have the confidence to win, then refine a supreme-grade transformation pill as fast as possible. If you don't have the confidence to win, then don't be too anxious. Instead, you should prepare to refine a supreme-grade transformation pill. Cough, cough. Right at this moment, old ancestor Demonic Dove coughed twice on the high platform and said, "The Danwu Academy has prepared a generous prize for all alchemists who enter the 4th round. After the alchemy competition ends, everyone can go to the Danwu Academy to collect it." F***CK. Old ancestor Demonic Ju's words left Peng Ju speechless. If it wasn't for his fear of old ancestor Demonic Ju's strength, he would have taught him a lesson. Blatant. This was a blatant competition for geniuses. If half of the 16 geniuses joined Danwu College, then in a few years, Danwu College would dominate the Great Xia Kingdom. At that time, the Alchemy Union's development in the Great Xia Kingdom would be greatly restricted. He didn't dare to voice his anger. Peng Ju was really angry, but he didn't dare to say anything. He could only grit his teeth and swallow it. If there's nothing else, the competition can begin. Saying this, old ancestor Demonic Ju closed his eyes and no longer spoke. The first round, Ren Xiangtian against Sun Ku. Dan Chunzi announced. Swish, swish. As Dan Chunzi's voice fell, 2 figures flew out from the square and landed on the first round stage. The second round, Zhao Kui against He Hu. Dan Chunzi continued. Swish, swish. Zhao Kui and He Hu landed on the second round dais together. The third match is also the last match of this stage. Li Tongtian vs Xie Yang. Dan Chunzi announced expressionlessly. Hearing this arrangement, Ningyu's heart tightened, and he faintly felt that something was wrong. Ningyu grabbed Li Tongtian's shoulder and said in a low voice, "If you compete with Xie Yang to see who can concoct the lower-grade energy transformation pill first, you will not have any advantage." Li Tongtian asked doubtfully, "You mean to say that you want me to prepare to refine a supreme-grade vitality transformation pill?" "No." Ningyu shook his head and said, "When you go up later, just do as I say. I guarantee that you'll be able to advance easily." Li Tongtian was just about to say something when he felt a wave of information enter his mind. Instantly, a look of relief appeared on his face. Whoosh! In the next moment, Li Tongtian leaped up and landed steadily on the third-round platform. "Ningyu, do you think Li Tongtian will be able to defeat Xie Yang?" Fengzi was more familiar with Li Tongtian and was very concerned about whether Li Tongtian would be able to win. "No problem. Although Li Tongtian might not be as good as Xie Yang in terms of raw strength, he will have no problem advancing." Ningyu waved his hand, indicating that Fengzi could rest assured. You're Li Tongtian, the fake holy son of Danwu College." On the third-round platform, Xie Yang's lips curled up and he said sinisterly, "Initially, I wanted to let you pass this round successfully on account of how hard it was for you to cultivate. Unfortunately, you and Ningyu know each other, so I have no choice but to eliminate you." As he spoke, Xie Yang immediately threw the alchemy furnace into the air, intending to concoct the energy transformation pill. "Wait a moment," Li Tongtian said. "Pardon me for asking, but what grade of pill are you intending to concoct?" "Of course it's the lower-grade energy transformation pill. Do you think I'm stupid? Do you want to refine a supreme-grade vitality transformation pill?" Xie Yang said calmly. "I knew it." Li Tongtian shrugged and said, "Go ahead and concoct your lower-grade energy transformation pill. I'm not afraid to tell you that I'm intending to refine a supreme-grade energy transformation pill, Li Tongtian's voice was slightly louder, and all the martial artists in the square heard him clearly. As he finished speaking, Li Tongtian did not care about Xie Yang's reaction. He grabbed a medicinal herb, threw it into the alchemy furnace, and began to concoct the energy transformation pill. Damn it! Xie Yang's face darkened. As the top alchemist in West Mountain City, he could not tolerate being mocked in front of so many people. However, Xie Yang did not lose his rationality. He knew that this was only the elimination round, and not the finals. If he were to concoct a supreme-grade energy transformation pill now, he would definitely become the center of attention. This would be extremely disadvantageous to him. Trying to goad me into concocting a supreme-grade energy transformation pill? Not so easy. Xie Yang said coldly as he concocted the pill. At the same time, Xie Yang looked towards Ningyu, wanting to provoke him. However, when he saw Ningyu's actions, he was momentarily stunned. Ningyu took out an alchemy furnace and threw it above his head. A blue flame appeared on the fingertips of his right hand, burning the alchemy furnace. His left hand continued to throw medicinal herbs into the furnace. Xie Yang was dumbfounded by Ningyu's action. "What is Ningyu doing?" a martial artist asked curiously. "What else can he be doing?" It's obvious that he's concocting an energy transformation pill. A fifth-tier alchemist explained, "If I'm not wrong, Ningyu is concocting a supreme-grade energy transformation pill." What? That's impossible. Ningyu would not be so stupid as to concoct a supreme-grade energy transformation pill at this juncture. Nothing is impossible. Ningyu said that he wants to be the first alchemist to concoct a supreme-grade energy transformation pill in this alchemy competition. Acting all mysterious, Xie Yang snorted coldly. He immediately grabbed the medicinal herbs and placed them into the furnace one by one. Done. Xie Yang had just started when Ningyu shouted. At the same time, he slammed his right hand heavily on the furnace. Xie Yang hurriedly stopped. He wanted to see if Ningyu could really concoct a supreme-grade energy transformation pill. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Time passed minute by minute, but Ningyu did not take out the energy transformation pill from the furnace. 10 minutes later, Ningyu shrugged his shoulders and said, "Sigh, failed. It seems that a supreme-grade energy transformation pill is indeed difficult to concoct. Ha ha ha, I thought you could really concoct a supreme-grade energy transformation pill. So it's just a silver spear wax head. What do you mean?" Xie Yang threw his head back and laughed when he heard Ningyu's sigh. However, before he could finish laughing, his expression changed drastically. His face was filled with confusion. Done. On the other side, Li Tongtian shouted in a low voice. In front of everyone, he took out a round pill from the furnace. To be able to concoct an energy transformation pill in 10 minutes, Li Tongtian is indeed capable. Of course, Li Tongtian is the fake holy son of Danwu College. Concocting a low-grade energy transformation pill in 10 minutes is already considered slow. This is considered slow. Then how fast is it? There are rumors that there is a fake holy son of Danwu College called Hang Dong. Xie Yang only heard the first few sentences of the crowd's discussion. He did not pay attention to the rest of the discussion. I still fell into his trap. Xie Yang's expression was extremely ugly. He glared at Ningyu, then automatically blocked all news and began to concoct the energy transformation pill. Chapter 656. The Two Great Royal Cities. Chapter 656. Thanks a lot for this. Li Tongtian placed the essence transformation pill on the table and walked to Ningyu's side. If not for you, I wouldn't have advanced to the next round so easily. Don't belittle yourself. With your alchemy skills, it's not too difficult for you to make a supreme essence transformation pill within an hour. Ningyu knew Li Tongtian's abilities. A supreme essence transformation pill was not a problem for him. Among all the alchemists participating in the alchemy competition, Li Tongtian's alchemy skills were enough to rank in the top 5. After all, Li Tongtian had relied on his talent in alchemy and not his martial skills to become the fake saint. Zhao Kui and Ren Xiangtian are about to form their pills too. Ningyu wanted to say something, but his eyes narrowed as he looked at the first and second round tables. Bam! Bam! Zhao Kui and Ren Xiangtian slapped their cauldrons at the same time and took out a round pill. Essence Transformation Pill. It had only been 10 minutes since the start of the elimination round, but Zhao Kui and Ren Xiangtian had already refined the Essence Transformation Pill. The elimination round is the time to show off your true abilities. Any carelessness will lead to failure, Li Tongtian murmured with a serious expression. The alchemy competition had gathered almost all the alchemy geniuses in the entire Great Xia Kingdom. After 3 rounds of selection, only 16 alchemists emerged. It was now the 4th elimination round. If they won, they would advance to the next round. If they lost, they would have to pack up and go home. In the 3rd round, he was still able to hold back, but in the 4th round, it was truly like the 8 immortals crossing the sea, each displaying their own ability. Swish. After placing the Essence Transformation Pill on the table, Zhao Kui walked down the round table and flew towards Ningyu. Ningyu was expressionless as he watched Zhao Kui approach him. He knew what Zhao Kui wanted to do without thinking. Haha, Ningyu, let me tell you first. You will most likely be facing the fake saint of Danwu College, Hang Dong. As expected, the first words Zhao Kui said after he arrived were filled with complacency. Zhao Kui's voice was very low, so low that only Ningyu could hear him. Danwu College has sent 3 fake holy sons this time. Hang Dong's alchemy skills are very strong. If you want to compete with him on the same stage, think about whether you can refine a transcendent grade essence transformation pill first. After saying that, Zhao Kui looked at Ningyu complacently. Can I ask you something? Ningyu automatically filtered out Zhao Kui's question and asked, have you lost your mind? Or perhaps, you're here to give me transcendent origin crystals again? Or do you want to kneel down? You. Upon hearing Ningyu's mocking words, Zhao Kui's face turned livid with rage. Relatively speaking, losing the essence crystals to Ningyu was secondary. What made him feel most embarrassed was that he had to kneel down and admit his mistake to Ningyu in front of so many people. This was what he could not accept the most. Ever since he had knelt down to make the heavenly oath, he had been thinking about revenge against Ningyu all the time. Taking a deep breath, Zhao Kui tried his best to calm himself down and said in a deep voice, don't try to win with your words. Since you're so arrogant, I might as well tell you another unfortunate news. People from Great Hill Royal City are here. Zhao Kui said coldly, let me give you a friendly reminder. If you don't want to die, you'd better stay in Danwu College and don't go out. Otherwise, you'll die a horrible death. What does it have to do with me whether people from Great Hill Royal City are here or not? Ningyu asked doubtfully. It does, of course it does. Zhao Kui grinned evilly. Sichu Wen is from Great Hill Royal City. He didn't participate in the alchemy competition this time, which means he's most likely in danger. Back in the Alchemy Union, everyone knew that you had a conflict with Sichu Wen. Now that Sichu Wen is missing, you're the biggest suspect. Oh right, I heard that Great Hill Royal City's Sichu family sent 2 experts. Zhao Kui paused for a moment, then told Ningyu through his soul, one of them is the Sichu family's current family leader, whose cultivation base is at the peak of Yin-Yang realm. The other one is the Sichu family's old ancestor, whose cultivation base is at the half-step manifestation realm. Swoosh. Ningyu's heart skipped a beat. With his current force, he was not afraid of a martial artist at the peak of Yin-Yang realm. But if he were to encounter a half-step manifestation realm martial artist, he would have no choice but to die. Although he was shocked, Ningyu's expression did not change. He said calmly, you're an idiot. Whatever you say is right. I don't want to refute you. Who are you calling an idiot? Zhao Kui said fiercely. I'm too lazy to talk to an idiot. It's dragging down my intelligence. Shrugging his shoulders, Ningyu replied, there's a type of person in the world that will pull your IQ to the same level as him and use his abundant experience to defeat you. There's only one way to deal with this kind of person, and that's to use your fists. Swoosh. As he spoke, Ningyu slightly released his aura and quietly suppressed Zhao Kui. I won't lower myself to your level. Sensing the aura emanating from Ningyu's body, Zhao Kui's expression changed slightly. He glared at Ningyu, then walked away. Swoosh. As soon as Zhao Kui left, Ren Xiangtian came over. Ningyu, The force behind Zhao Kui is familiar with the Sichu family. You'd better be careful. Ren Xiangtian lowered his voice and said, Sichu Wen is from Great Hill Royal City, and Zhao Kui is from King Jie City. Great Hill Royal City and King Jie City are the only cities in the capital. There are many hidden talents in them, and they even have half-step manifestation realm martial artist. Seeing that Ning Yu did not take this matter seriously, Ren Xiangtian hurriedly said, only a few people in the capital know about Sichu Wen and Zhao Kui's background. Ordinary people think that they belong to the Alchemy Union, but they don't know how powerful the force behind them is. Different situations call for different actions, Ning Yu said. Ning Yu, half-step manifestation realm martial artists are not easy to deal with, Li Tongtian said. At this moment, Li Tongtian said, I suggest that after the alchemy competition ends, you return to the Danwu Academy to participate in the Holy Sun test. As long as you can become the Holy Sun, even if a half-step creation realm martial artist wants to touch you, they would have to weigh their own strength first. Thank you for the reminder. I'll think about it, Ning Yu said in a low voice with a slight frown. Boom. At this moment, a sound rang out from round table number 3. Everyone followed the voice and looked over, only to see a sparkling and translucent medicinal pill in Xie Yang's hand. The pill emitted a faint white mist. It was obvious that it was a supreme yuan converting pill in Xie Yang's hand. Gulp. When everyone in the square saw the pill in Xie Yang's hand, they swallowed a mouthful of saliva and revealed a shocked expression. In less than 30 minutes, no, it should be less than 20 minutes, Xie Yang had actually refined a supreme yuan converting pill. This time was indeed heaven-defying. Crack, crack. At the same time, 2 more cracking sounds came from the other 2 round tables. Pill explosion. Xie Yang refining a supreme yuan converting pill had a huge impact on He Hu and Sun Ku. It caused their pills to explode and they were eliminated from the competition. Cough cough, there are 4 people who will successfully advance to the next round. They are Zhao Kui, Ren Xiangtian, Li Tongtian, and Xie Yang who refined a supreme yuan converting pill. Chapter 657. Pill formation at the same time. Whoosh. The expressions of the people around Ning Yu changed slightly when they heard the names of the 2 sides in the first round. Among them, Li Tongtian's face was filled with worry. Ning Yu, Hangdong's alchemy skills can be ranked in the top 3 among the 8 fake saints of Danwu College. You have to be careful when you fight him. Top 3? Ning Yu frowned slightly and asked, how long will it take for Hangdong to refine the low-grade origin transformation pill? I don't know the specifics, but I've seen Hangdong refine transcendent-grade essence transformation pills. Li Tongtian thought for a moment and said, a month ago, when Hangdong challenged the projection of the saint, he refined a transcendent-grade essence dissipation pill. At that time, he used about 15 minutes to refine the pill, but unfortunately, Hangdong still lost in the end, because the saint's projection refined a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill in 10 minutes. 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Ning Yu's heart was slightly heavy. The last time he refined a transcendent-grade origin transformation pill for Xikongling, it also took him 10 minutes. A month ago, Hangdong was able to refine a transcendent-grade yuan transformation pill in 15 minutes. From this, it could be seen that Hangdong could probably refine a transcendent-grade yuan transformation pill in around 10 minutes. In Danwu College, Hangdong has a nickname. Li Tongtian hesitated slightly, but still said, Little Pill King. Ning Yu, you don't dare to go on stage. While Ning Yu was still conversing with Li Tongtian, Zhao Kui shouted from the other side, if you know what's good for you, you'd better admit defeat as soon as possible. Save yourself the embarrassment when you lose later, ha ha ha. Wait a moment. Ning Yu did not even look at Zhao Kui. He leaped into the air and landed on the first round dais. Ning Yu, among all the participants in the alchemy competition, there are 2 people that I'm interested in. Seeing Ning Yu ascend the stage, Hangdong said indifferently, you count as 1, and that Xie Yang who refined a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill counts as 1. If we compete in refining inferior-grade essence transformation pills, it would be meaningless. In my opinion, we should compete to see who can refine a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill first. As you wish. Ning Yu did not reject Hang Dong, but nodded. All right. After receiving Ning Yu's affirmation, Hang Dong immediately took out his alchemy furnace and started to refine pills. Seeing Hang Dong's actions, Ning Yu's face darkened. In the next moment, Ning Yu also took out the pill furnace on his body and started refining the yuan-converting pill together with Hang Dong. While Ning Yu and Hang Dong were refining pills, Dan Chunzi introduced the remaining 8 matches. However, the majority of the audience's attention shifted to the first round dais. They wanted to see who among Ning Yu and Hang Dong would refine a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill first. After all, they had heard Hang Dong's words very clearly. Others could not wait to refine inferior-grade essence transformation pills, but these 2 cultivators wanted to refine transcendent-grade essence transformation pills right from the start. It'd be best if their pills explode, Zhao Kui said coldly from a corner of the square. To Zhao Kui, he would be very happy if Ning Yu failed to advance to the next round. Dong. On the high dais, Ancestor Demonic Jew slowly tapped his fingers on the chair under him, feeling a little angry in his heart. Dan Chunzi's arrangement of this match was obviously to make things difficult for Danwu College and him. Both Ning Yu and Hang Dong were Danwu College's fake holy princes. Letting them meet in the first round of the elimination round was somewhat unfair. Although Ancestor Demonic Jew did not doubt Ning Yu and Hang Dong's strength, Dan Chunzi's arrangement still made him unhappy. If there are no accidents, after this round, there should be 10 alchemists advancing to the next round. In other words, the top 10 will be chosen. Seeing Ancestor Demonic Jew's unhappy expression, Peng Ju hurriedly said, "In your opinion, what grade of pill should we refine in the next round?" Simple. Ancestor Demonic Jew pondered for a moment before slowly saying, "In the next round, the top 3 will be chosen." What? Choose 3 out of 10? Peng Ju exclaimed in surprise. Hehe, there's nothing to fuss about. Beside him, Black Widow said with a smile, "Go and prepare 10 sets of the same herbs and let them combine them. Then, according to the grade of the pill they refine, the top 3 will be easily chosen." That's reasonable. I'll go and prepare first, please wait a moment. Saying so, Peng Ju left the high platform and hurriedly went to prepare. Old Ancestor Demon Ju, in your opinion, between Ning Yu and Hang Dong, who do you think will be able to refine a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill first? After Peng Ju left, the Black Widow looked at the 2 people refining pills on the round platform and asked. A month ago, Hang Dong could refine a transcendent essence transformation pill in 15 minutes. Ancestor Demonic Jew did not immediately answer Black Widow's question. Instead, he said, "In the next Holy Prince assessment, Hang Dong has a high chance of becoming a Holy Prince. The 100 Academy tournament is about to begin. Danwu College really needs a Holy Prince to support them. Otherwise, they won't be able to win against the other academies." Black Widow said solemnly. "Let's wait and see. I'm more interested in Ning Yu. Who knows, he might bring me a pleasant surprise." Ancestor Demonic Jew looked at the round platform and frowned. At the same time, on the first round platform, Ning Yu and Hang Dong were doing their best to refine the essence transformation pill. The speed at which they grabbed the herbs was very fast. Almost every minute, they would grab several herbs and throw them into the pill furnace. In the blink of an eye, 5 minutes passed. Kai. In 5 minutes, the other alchemists on the round platforms had only thrown half of the herbs into the pill furnace, while Ning Yu and Hang Dong had refined all the herbs. Refining all the herbs in 5 minutes, this speed is indeed terrifying. At this speed, doesn't it mean that they can refine a transcendent essence transformation pill in 10 minutes? Refining a transcendent essence transformation pill in 10 minutes? That's too heaven-defying. Heaven-defying. Just now, Xie Yang used less than 20 minutes to refine a transcendent essence transformation pill. Ning Yu and Hang Dong are both Danwu College's fake holy princes, so they should be faster. The discussion in the square did not affect Ning Yu and Hang Dong at the round platform at all. It could be said that Hang Dong was the strongest alchemist Ning Yu had met in an alchemy competition since his rebirth. Hang Dong can refine a transcendent essence transformation pill in about 10 minutes. Although Hang Dong was a strong opponent, Ningyu's heart did not fluctuate too much. On the contrary, Ningyu was still calculating how long Hangdong would take to refine a transcendent essence transformation pill. The tree that stood out in Lin Feng's way must be destroyed. This was a principle that Ningyu was very clear about. Therefore, Ningyu decided to form the pill together with Hangdong. This way, there would not be so much trouble. Buzz. Time passed, and 5 minutes passed quickly. Suddenly, the corners of Hangdong's mouth curled up, and he said to Ningyu, "I'll go first." Crack. As soon as Hangdong's voice fell, he immediately patted the pill furnace, and in an instant, a pill flew out of the pill furnace. Haha, what a coincidence, I've formed the pill. Chapter 658. Soul Wood Swoosh. Ningyu and Hangdong completed their pills at the same time, causing the square to instantly become quiet. 10 minutes. Only 10 minutes had passed since the two of them refined the essence transformation pills. In 10 minutes, the other alchemists on the round tables had not even refined a low-grade essence transformation pill, but Ningyu and Hangdong had refined a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill. Gulp. After a while, someone swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and the originally quiet square instantly became noisy. This is too unbelievable. Refining a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill in 10 minutes, are you sure that the two of them are not 7th-grade alchemists? They are both fake holy sons of Danwu College. It is understandable that they can refine a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill in such a short time. Sigh, in this alchemy competition, the 4 fake holy sons of Danwu College will definitely take the top 4. Hehe, you can't be so sure. Suddenly, a 4th-grade alchemist smiled and said, Dan Chun's last disciple, Yi Tian, is also participating in the alchemy competition. He is on the 5th round table. Swoosh. Hearing the words of the 4th-grade alchemist, everyone looked at the 5th round table. They saw Yi Tian, who was on the round table, slamming his palm on the cauldron. Suddenly, a pill that was emitting white mist shot out of the cauldron. A transcendent-grade essence transformation pill. The shock that Yi Tian refined a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill was no less than that of Ningyu and Hangdong. This was because Yi Tian's soul power was only at the early stage of 5th grade. Meanwhile, Ningyu and Hangdong were at least at the peak of 5th grade. Although Yi Tian used 13 minutes to refine a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill, it was enough to shock everyone. One could imagine that when Yi Tian's soul power increased to the peak of 5th grade, he would definitely be able to refine a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill within 10 minutes. How can Yi Tian refine a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill so quickly? Ningyu looked at Yi Tian, who was walking down the 5th round table, and could not help but frown. No one knew Yi Tian's alchemy level better than Ningyu. In short, Ningyu did not believe that Yi Tian could refine a transcendent-grade essence transformation pill in 13 minutes. Are you surprised that I refined a transcendent-grade yuan transformation pill? Just as Ningyu was deep in thought, a voice entered his ears. I was wondering who it was. So it's Yi Tian, young Master Yi. Hearing the familiar voice in his ear, Ningyu smiled and said, "What, young Master Yi still wants to compete with me in refining the origin melting pill?" Without waiting for Yi Tian to speak, Ningyu continued, "I admire your courage. You lost to me twice in Danwu College, yet you still dare to challenge me. I have to say, you are indeed arrogant." "I'm arrogant." Yi Tian opened his mouth. He didn't expect Ningyu to be so eloquent. Actually, Yi Tian had not come to challenge Ningyu this time, but to make fun of Ningyu. But hearing Ningyu's words, Yi Tian changed his mind. His lips curled up, and he said, "Since you're so interested, let's have another bet." Swoosh. With that, Yi Tian flipped his wrist and took out a small branch from his pocket. Spirit wood. Just as Yi Tian took out the branch, Hangdong exclaimed, "It's spirit wood. No wonder you can refine transcendent-grade yuan transformation pills." Ignoring Hangdong's shock, Yi Tian waved the spirit wood in his hand and said to Ningyu, "Let's each use a portion of our soul power. As long as you can suppress my soul power, I'll give this spirit wood to you." "Ningyu, don't bet with him," Li Tongtian said hurriedly. Although Yi Tian's soul power is only at early stage 5th grade, with the support of the spirit wood, His soul power can reach 6th grade or even 7th grade in a short period of time. It's fine. Ning Yu waved his hand, indicating that Li Tongtian did not have to worry. All right. I admire that courage of yours. Yi Tian raised an eyebrow and said, if you lose, not only will you forfeit this alchemy competition, you will also have to give me 600,000 transcendent grade yuan crystals. Hehe, you're quite the wishful thinking. You know that I have 600,000 transcendent grade yuan crystals on me. Ning Yu smiled and took out the storage bag from his storage ring. Don't worry, 600,000 transcendent grade yuan crystals are here. As long as you beat me, they will naturally be yours. All right. Let's begin. Yi Tian's eyes turned cold, and he immediately separated a portion of his soul power from his body. However, this portion of soul power first entered the spirit wood, and then floated above his head. You can use your soul power now. I want to see whether your peak 5th grade or my early stage soul power is stronger, Yi Tian said proudly, as if victory was already in his grasp. As you wish. Ning Yu's face was expressionless. With a flick of his wrist, a portion of soul power surged out of his body and quickly flew towards the soul power above Yi Tian's head. On the surface, Ning Yu's soul power was at the peak of 5th grade, while Yi Tian's was at the early stage. However, Ancestor Demonic Jew, who was on the high platform, knew the secret behind it. Interesting. Both of them are pretending to be weak. Old Ancestor Demonic Jew looked at the two soul forces with interest and murmured, Yi Tian used the soul wood, but I wonder what Ning Yu used. Yi Tian will really cause trouble for me. Dan Chunzi's expression was a little ugly. The spirit wood was a rare treasure, and Yi Tian actually dared to use it as a bet. If he lost, the consequences would be unimaginable. When the alchemy competition is over, I will immediately take back the spirit wood, Dan Chunzi said fiercely. The reason why Dan Chunzi gave the spirit wood to Yi Tian was so that Yi Tian could enter the top 3 and enter the pill cave of Danwu College. Otherwise, he would not have given such a precious spirit wood to Yi Tian. Ning Yu, your soul power seems to be at a disadvantage. On the other side, Yi Tian raised his head and looked at the soul power he was suppressing. In another 3 minutes, your soul power will be completely defeated. Looks like your 600,000 pieces of top-grade essence crystals will belong to me. Is that so? I might have to disappoint you. Ning Yu shrugged. Disappoint me? You too, what? Yi Tian wanted to ridicule Ning Yu, but his eyes widened when he saw something that made him tremble. Kai. In midair, Ning Yu's soul power suddenly erupted with a powerful force, directly suppressing Yi Tian's soul power. Ning Yu did not give Yi Tian the slightest chance and instantly destroyed Yi Tian's soul power. Poochie. With his soul power thoroughly destroyed, Yi Tian opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of dark red blood. His complexion became deathly pale. Yi Tian never would have thought that his soul power enhanced to late-stage grade 6 by relying on the spirit wood was actually instantly destroyed by Ning Yu. No, you cheated. The strength of your soul power is only peak grade 5. How can you destroy my soul power? Yi Tian yelled crazily. You can use the spirit wood. Why can't I use other things? Ning Yu could not be bothered with Yi Tian. Both his feet stepped on the ground and rushed out with an extremely shocking speed. Chapter 659. One move. Not good. Yi Tian's expression changed as he watched Ning Yu closing in on him. He hastily retreated. Shua. However, Yi Tian's speed of retreat was clearly slower than Ning Yu's. Soon, Yi Tian was caught up. Ning Yu, the soul wood belongs to my master, Dan Chunzi. How dare you snatch it? Seeing that there was no way to escape, Yi Tian brought up his master, Dan Chunzi, in hopes that Ning Yu would back off. Whether it was cultivation or soul force, Dan Chunzi crushed Ning Yu in all aspect. Aside from Yi Tian, everyone else in the square thought that Ning Yu would give up on the soul wood. Since you've lost the bet, you must accept the loss. You've already lost the soul wood to me, so I'm just taking what belongs to me. Ning Yu did not take Yi Tian's words to heart. He instantly appeared in front of Yi Tian and reached out with his right hand to grab the soul wood. But just as Ning Yu's hand was about to touch the soul wood, a cold snort rang in his ear. You dare to snatch my soul wood? I think you're tired of living. Dan Chunzi snorted coldly. With a flick of his wrist, a huge palm print appeared and slammed towards Ningyu's chest. Dan Chunzi's palm was powerful and contained violent yuan qi fluctuations. Even an ordinary early yin-yang stage cultivator would not dare to take it head-on. Old ancestor demonic Jew, Ningyu is the fake holy son of Danwu College. Aren't you going to help him? The corner of Black Widow's mouth curled into a smile. Haha, Ningyu is still not calm enough. Dan Chunzi is a peak yin-yang stage cultivator, so he can take down Ningyu's prestige. Old ancestor demonic Jew laughed. Moreover, Dan Chunzi won't dare to kill Ningyu. At most, he'll just teach him a lesson. I feel that things aren't that simple. Black Widow frowned. Oh. Old ancestor demonic Jew raised an eyebrow. Do you think that Ningyu can fight Dan Chunzi head-on? Don't think too much about it. If Ningyu had advanced to the early yin-yang stage, I might have believed it, but he is only at the peak of the primal core stage. It is impossible. What? Ancestor demonic Jew did not believe that Ningyu could face Dan Chunzi head-on. But just as his gaze shifted to the sky above the square, his mouth opened slightly, revealing a shocked expression. Ningyu and Dan Chunzi stood in the air, neither making a move. Below them, Yi Tian held his head in his hands, his face contorted in pain. Dan Chunzi, if you're willing to bet, you must be willing to accept your loss. I really wonder how you've lived for so long. Ningyu shook the spirit wood in his hand and said, also, the spirit wood is such an important thing, yet you gave it to Yi Tian. TSK, I have to say, you're really naive. Dan Chunzi's chest heaved up and down, on the verge of exploding in anger. He did not care about making a fool of himself in front of so many people, he did not care about being ridiculed by Ningyu. What he cared about was the spirit wood. Without the spirit wood, Yi Tian would not be able to win the top 3 in the alchemy competition, and he would not be able to enter Danwu College's pill cave. Dan Chunzi glanced at ancestor demonic Jew on the high platform, took a deep breath, and said, Ningyu, state your conditions. What do I need to do to return the spirit wood to me? In fact, Dan Chunzi had no other choice. Ancestor demonic Jew's presence here had cut off all thoughts of using force to take back the spirit wood. If he tried to forcefully attack Ningyu, ancestor demonic Jew would definitely not sit idly by. Not to mention, Ningyu's strength had exceeded his expectations. Just now, he had used 50% of his strength, but Ningyu had easily blocked it. If I want to kill Ningyu here, I need to use at least 80% of my strength. Dan Chunzi said fiercely. I do have a condition, but you probably won't agree. Ningyu pondered for a moment, and said, state your condition. As long as I can do it, I will definitely satisfy you. Dan Chunzi said solemnly. Compared to entering the pill cave, Dan Chunzi could think of a way to agree to any condition. Very simple, make Yi Tian withdraw from the alchemy competition, and give me an additional 2 million transcendent grade essence crystals. Ningyu shrugged, and said, the market price of the spirit wood should be around 3 to 4 million transcendent grade essence crystals. Me asking you for 2 million is already being extremely benevolent. Think about it. Crack crack. Hearing Ningyu's words, Dan Chunzi's hands clenched into fists, trying his best to restrain himself from exploding. He could take out 2 million transcendent grade essence crystals, but to make Yi Tian withdraw from the alchemy competition, he couldn't do it no matter what. Because if Yi Tian withdrew from the competition, he also wouldn't be able to enter the pill cave. Dan Chunzi, I'll give you a chance. Sure. Just as Dan Chunzi was about to attack regardless of the price, ancestor demonic Jew tore through the void and appeared beside him. What chance? Dan Chunzi asked. As long as you can take one move from Ningyu without collapsing, I can make the decision to return the spirit wood to you. Ancestor demonic Jew said. Voila. When the crowd heard this, their hearts trembled, and they all looked at ancestor demonic Jew with doubt. If they didn't know that ancestor demonic Jew was a disciple of Danwu College, they would have thought that ancestor demonic Jew and Dan Chunzi were standing on the same side. Ningyu is only a peak Yuan Dan, but Dan Chunzi is at the peak yin-yang stage. The two are simply not on the same level. Forget one move, even if Ningyu used 8 or 10 moves, it would still be impossible for him to defeat Dan Chunzi. The fact that Ningyu had blocked Dan Chunzi's move earlier had indeed shocked everyone. However, no one believed that he could defeat Dan Chunzi in a single move. None of them were optimistic about his chances. Is that true? Dan Chunzi's face lit up, and he hurriedly asked. Yes. Ancestor Demonic Jew replied, and his figure flickered, returning to the high platform. This, your mother. Seeing Ancestor Demonic Jew leave so irresponsibly, Ningyu cursed in his heart. Scam, what a scam. The spirit wood was won by me. Why are you making the decision for me? Ancestor Demonic Jew, why are you doing this? On the high platform, Black Widow asked in confusion. Black Widow couldn't understand why Ancestor Demonic Jew would want Ningyu to give up such a precious treasure like the spirit wood. Dan Chunzi is not a soft persimmon. The fact that he could become the Pill King of the Grand Xia Kingdom is enough to prove his ability. Ancestor Demonic Jew sighed, and slowly said, there are many hidden old monsters in the Grand Xia Kingdom, and all of them have asked Dan Chunzi for medicinal pills. If Dan Chunzi wants to kill Ningyu, there's no need for him to do it himself. He only needs to spread the word, and there will be many people who will help him deal with Ningyu. But if Danwu College spread the word, I believe that the hidden old monsters in the Grand Xia Kingdom will give Danwu College face. Black Widow frowned. Don't be too optimistic. Danwu College's upper echelons are not decided by me. They are divided into several factions. Ancestor Demonic Jew shook his head, and then closed his eyes, no longer speaking. Sure. At the same time, Dan Chunzi floated in the air with his hands behind his back, a confident smile on his face. Chapter 660. The shocked crowd. Ningyu, I won't move. Let's see how you're going to defeat me. Ningyu's face turned solemn when he heard Dan Chunzi's words. Defeating Dan Chunzi, who was at the peak of the yin-yang realm, in one move was indeed very difficult. Why? You don't dare to make a move? Yi Tian had already recovered from the pain and said, Ningyu, if you know what's good for you, hand over the spirit wood as soon as possible. Otherwise, shut up. Dan Chunzi was already a little annoyed. When he heard Yi Tian's ungrateful words, he interrupted him and said coldly, this has nothing to do with you. Go back and prepare for the next round of the alchemy competition. Yi Tian was instantly speechless after being reprimanded by Dan Chunzi. Before leaving, Yi Tian glared at Ningyu fiercely, as if saying, just you wait. Ningyu ignored Yi Tian. In other words, Ningyu did not take Yi Tian seriously at all. Ningyu frowned as he thought of a countermeasure. Swoosh. If I were Ningyu, I would definitely give up and return the spirit wood to Dan Chunzi. That's right. If I return the spirit wood to Dan Chunzi, I might become his friend. The fact that Ningyu did not make a move immediately caused the crowd to discuss. Friend. On the other side, Zhao Kui could not help but smile when he heard the crowd's discussion. After offending Dan Chunzi, there will be no place for Ningyu in the Great Xia Kingdom from now on. Look, Ningyu is making a move. Suddenly, someone shouted, drawing the crowd's attention to Ningyu and Dan Chunzi. Swoosh. In midair, Ningyu immediately dashed out and punched Dan Chunzi's chest with a violent wave of Yuan Qi. Hiss. Sensing the monstrous Yuan energy undulations contained in Ningyu's fist, the numerous martial practitioners in the square revealed shocked expressions. Strong, he was just too strong. The power of Ningyu's punch was enough to defeat a middle-stage yin-yang realm martial artist. Bang! In the next moment, under everyone's shocked gazes, Ningyu's fist struck Dan Chunzi's chest. A crisp sound resounded in the area. The result did not exceed everyone's expectations. Dan Chunzi still floated in midair, not moving an inch. Hee, you lost. Since you agreed to the bet, you must accept your loss. Return the soul wood to me, said Dan Chunzi with a smile. You're willing to admit defeat. Do you think you're qualified to tell me that you're willing to concede defeat? Ningyu coldly snorted. Soon after, he changed the topic and said, moreover, I did not lose. Reincarnation palm. Following Ningyu's cry in his heart, an extremely vigorous wave of Yuan Qi surged out of his sea of consciousness and entered his wrist. No one noticed that within this violent wave of yuan qi, there was a terrifying wisp of soul power and a terrifying wisp of azure spirit fire. Not good. The huge force from his chest caused Dan Chunzi's expression to change drastically. He hurriedly summoned all the yuan qi in his body and frantically gathered it on the surface of his chest, hoping to block Ning Yu's palm print. Fart. However, it was clearly too late for Dan Chunzi to react at this moment. Ning Yu's palm suddenly exerted force, and the huge force directly blasted Dan Chunzi several feet back. Dan Chunzi spat out a mouthful of blood, and his breathing became weak. At the same time, his body swayed in midair. Ning Yu, I admit that I underestimated you. However, I did not fall, so the soul wood is still mine. Dan Chunzi's tone was cold as he said in a deep voice. Is that so? Hearing this, Ning Yu raised an eyebrow, and a smile appeared on his face. Fart. Fart. As soon as Ning Yu's voice fell, Dan Chunzi felt a dull pain in his chest, and then he spat out a few more mouthfuls of blood. Bang! After spitting out the blood, Dan Chunzi's originally swaying body finally could not hold on any longer, and he directly fell to the ground. Silence. Silence. A terrifying silence. After Dan Chunzi fell to the ground, the entire square instantly fell silent. Not even the slightest sound of breathing could be heard. Dan Chunzi was a peak yin-yang stage martial artist, so how could he be defeated by Ning Yu in one move? Just what level had Ning Yu's strength reached? Kacha. This silence did not last long before it was broken by a crisp sound from the high platform. On the high platform, Ancestor Demonic Jew had smashed the chair he was sitting on into pieces with a dumbfounded look on his face. Ancestor Demonic Jew had never imagined that the peak primal core stage Ning Yu would be able to defeat the peak yin-yang stage Dan Chunzi in one move. Although Dan Chunzi had merely blocked the attack, it was enough to prove Ning Yu's strength. Things might go south. Ancestor Demonic Jew's expression was solemn. It's not a big deal. After the alchemy competition ends, let Ning Yu participate in the Holy Sun assessment. With his strength, he has an 80% chance of becoming a Holy Sun. Black Widow wasn't too worried. As long as Ning Yu can suppress all the fake Holy Suns and become the Holy Sun of Danwu College, I believe anyone who wants to make a move against him will have to think twice. Forget it, we'll deal with it when the time comes. When the time comes, I'll give Dan Chunzi a warning. Ancestor Demonic Jew took a deep breath and said slowly, Hua la. Right at this time, Peng Ju flew out from the square's entrance with several storage bags in his hands. What happened? The moment Peng Ju appeared, he noticed Dan Chunzi's miserable state. Master, it's like this. Seeing Peng Ju appear, Zhao Kui hurriedly transmitted his voice to him. Listening to Zhao Kui's story, Peng Ju's face darkened. The soul wood was such an important item, but Ning Yu had actually obtained it. Ning Yu's alchemy skills were already very high, and with the addition of the soul wood, he would definitely be able to snatch one of the top 3 spots in the alchemy competition. Really knows how to cause trouble for me. Peng Ju wished he could skin Dan Chunzi alive, but he knew that he and Dan Chunzi were on the same side. Before entering the pill cave, they had to fight side by side. In the next instant, Peng Ju's figure flickered, landing beside Dan Chunzi. Are you alright? Peng Ju asked. I'm fine, just careless. Dan Chunzi said in a low voice, we must take back the soul wood no matter what. No matter the cost. Let's put this matter aside for now. Next up is the alchemy competition's top 3 competition. Whether the first step of our plan succeeds depends on whether Zhao Kui and Yi Tian can snatch the top 3 spots. Peng Ju said solemnly. Peng. Peng. Suddenly, the sound of several pill lids flying into the air rang out. Clear and melodious sounds rang out from the other round tables. Seeing the situation on the round tables, Peng Ju slowly rose into the air and announced in a clear voice, in this round of elimination, Ning Yu, Han Dong, Shi Yang, Cheng Qing, Liao Hua, and Zhu Hao have successfully advanced to the next round. Let's cut to the chase. The rules of the next round are very simple. Chapter 661. 5 Elements Blood Dragon Pill. The rules of the competition are quite interesting. After listening to Peng Ju's introduction of the rules of the competition, Ningyu raised his eyebrows and muttered. It's interesting, but I'm afraid there's something fishy going on. At the side, Li Tongtian said solemnly, the elixir was prepared by Peng Ju. Who knows, the alchemists in the Alchemy Union might already know what medicinal ingredients are in it. Whoosh. Hearing this, Ningyu and the others turned to look at Ren Xiangtian because Ren Xiangtian was an alchemist in the Alchemy Union. Don't look at me like that. I don't know what kind of medicinal herb is inside the storage pouch, Ren Xiangtian hastily said. Ren Xiangtian definitely didn't want to be the scapegoat. Moreover, he really did not know what medicinal herb was in the storage bag. A total of 10 alchemists, one round table for each of them. Just when Ren Xiangtian wanted to say something, Peng Ju's voice resounded in the square again. You have 3 minutes to prepare. After 3 minutes, the alchemy competition will officially begin. Xiu. Xiu. In the next moment, Peng Ju flicked his wrist and threw the 10 storage bags onto the stone table on the round platform. With that done, Peng Ju's figure flashed and appeared beside Ancestor Demonic Ju and the others. Peng Ju, let me have a look at the medicinal ingredients you prepared. Seeing Peng Ju appear, Old Ancestor Demonju spoke. I've been ready for a long time. Peng Ju knew that Old Ancestor Demonic Ju would definitely inspect them, so he prepared more than 10 sets of herbs. Firstly, it was to prevent Old Ancestor Demonic Ju from inspecting the pill, and secondly, it was to prevent someone else from refining a pill of the same grade. There are many ways to combine these herbs, ranging from a 1st grade pill to a 6th grade pill. Old Ancestor Demonic Ju looked at the herbs in the storage bag and said solemnly, according to my observation, the highest quality pill refined from these herbs should be the 5 elements blood dragon pill. When I grabbed the medicinal ingredients, I grabbed them according to the 5 elements blood dragon pill and then put in a lot of other medicinal ingredients. Peng Ju explained, the 5 elements blood dragon pill is a 6th grade middle stage pill. It is particularly difficult to refine. Even an ordinary 6th grade late stage alchemist may not be able to refine it. The 5 elements blood dragon pill is indeed difficult to refine. Ancestor Demonju nodded, let's see who can refine it first. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 minutes passed by quickly and the 10 alchemists appeared on the round table. Because there were a lot of herbs in the storage bag, no one started to refine pills. Everyone was secretly calculating what grade of pills they should refine. Judging from the first few rounds of the competition, it would be very difficult for him to enter the top 3 by refining a grade 5 elixir. It was very obvious that everyone had set their sights on grade 6 medicinal pills. Voila! A few minutes later, the first alchemist to refine the pill appeared. Not Xie Yang, not Hang Dong, not Ningyu. Yi Tian. The first person to refine a medicinal pill was Leaf Sky. Hua. Following that, the second person started to refine pills. Both Yi Tian and Zhao Kui have started concocting pills. Judging from this, they should know what pill with the highest quality made from these herbs is. Ningyu frowned when he saw Yi Tian and Zhao Kui starting to concoct pills. He recalled the transmigration pill Audiobook in his mind, hoping to find a higher quality pill in it. Ningyu knew very well that he could refine the 5 elements blood dragon pill with the herbs in the storage bag. Since Yi Tian and Zhao Kui started to refine pills so quickly, it meant that they were well prepared. Under this premise, it would be very difficult to defeat them with the 5 elements blood dragon pill, unless he could refine a supreme grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. With Ningyu's current soul force strength, refining a supreme grade 5 elements blood dragon pill was an impossible task. Got it. The 5 elements blood dragon pill is a mid-grade grade 6 medicinal pill. I'll refine the 6 elements blood dragon pill. Suddenly, Ningyu thought of a countermeasure. The 6 elements blood dragon pill's quality was slightly higher than the 5 elements blood dragon pill. According to the reincarnation pill Audiobook, both pills required the same herbs, but the refining method was slightly different. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. While Ningyu was pondering, the other alchemists started to refine the 5 elements blood dragon pill. Being able to stand out among so many participating alchemists, it meant that everyone had some skills. They all knew that it was only a matter of time before they could refine the 5 elements blood dragon pill. Why hasn't Ningyu started refining pills yet? In the square, Lu Wei was slightly worried. Don't worry. Ningyu must be considering what grade of medicinal pill to refine. Sikong Ling comforted her. Ningyu can refine a supreme grade essence transformation pill in 10 minutes. He can at least enter the top 3 in this round of the competition. It's not impossible for him to compete for first place. It's going to be difficult to compete for first place. Yi Tian and Zhao Kui's speed is too fast. I think they'll be the first to succeed. Ju Tong frowned. He was also very worried. Ju Tong's words caused everyone's gaze to fall on Yi Tian and Zhao Kui. Yi Tian grabbed several medicinal herbs and threw them into the alchemy furnace. Then, he started to crazily burn the bottom of the alchemy furnace. Zhao Kui was slightly better than Yi Tian, but he also grabbed 2 medicinal herbs and threw them into the alchemy furnace. On the other hand, the other alchemists, even Xie Yang and Hang Dong, who had shown great alchemy skills, only grabbed 1 herb each time. Ningyu, why haven't you started refining pills yet? Zhao Kui separated a wisp of his perception and noticed Ningyu's actions. The corners of his mouth rose into a smile and he said, fortunately, Master had foresight and predicted that old ancestor demonic Jew would do this. I've already prepared a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. Let's see how you defeat me. Fortunately, I won the soul wood from Yi Tian. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to refine the 6 elements blood dragon pill. Ningyu took a deep breath and secretly separated a portion of his soul force. He first used the soul wood to strengthen his soul force, and then he poured it into the alchemy furnace. Afterward, Ningyu unhurriedly threw the medicinal herbs into the alchemy furnace and began refining the blood dragon pill. In any case, he only had 1 hour. It didn't matter if he finished earlier or later. As long as the final pill was of high quality, he would win. Time was ticking away. In the blink of an eye, 40 minutes had passed. Rumble. An earth-shattering rumble resounded in the air. Zhao Kui's right hand slammed heavily on the alchemy furnace, and a blood-red pill immediately burst out from the alchemy furnace. Swish. Zhao Kui's eyes and hands were sharp, and he firmly grasped the blood-red pill in his hand. With the blood-red pill in his hand, Zhao Kui looked provocatively at Ningyu. The expression on his face was extremely irritating. Rumble. At this time, Yi Tian, who was on the other round platform, also slammed the alchemy furnace, doing the same thing as Zhao Kui. As expected, Yi Tian also held a blood-red pill in his hand. Swish. Seeing the blood-red pills in Yi Tian's and Zhao Kui's hands, all the cultivators in the square revealed expressions of disbelief. Chapter 662. Half-step super grade. The strength of Yi Tian's soul power is only at the early stage of level 5, and Zhao Kui's soul power is only at the peak of level 5. How could they possibly refine a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon elixir? That's right. The 5 elements blood dragon pill is a tier 6 intermediate elixir. With the strength of their soul force, it's basically impossible for them to refine it. Don't forget that Zhao Kui is Peng Ju's apprentice, and Yi Tian is Dan Chun's apprentice. I wouldn't be surprised if they refined a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. Most of the people in the square were skeptical about Zhao Kui and Yi Tian refining the 5 elements blood dragon elixir. Of course, there were also a small number of people who chose to believe in Zhao Kui and Yi Tian. After all, both of their masters were not simple. One was Peng Ju, and the other was Dan Chunzi. Guild leader Peng, congratulations, old ancestor Jumo said calmly. Haha, Zhao Kui was just lucky. It's his good fortune to be able to refine a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill, Peng Ju said with a smile, looking slightly excited. In Peng Ju's opinion, a high-grade 5 elemental blood dragon pill was enough for Zhao Kui to enter the top 3. Transcendent grade 5 elements blood dragon pill? Peng Ju did not believe that the other 8 alchemists would be able to refine it. One had to know that even he did not dare to say that he could refine a transcendent grade 5 elements blood dragon pill with a 100% success rate. He could only succeed 7 or 8 times out of 10. You're right. It's indeed Zhao Kui's good fortune to be able to refine the upper grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. Ancestor Jumo's face was expressionless as he said, relying on the upper grade 5 elements blood dragon pill, Zhao Kui should be able to get into the top 5. Of course, I'm sure I'll get the top. What? Top 5? Peng Ju nodded. Just as he was about to speak, he suddenly realized something. Forefather Ju Mo wasn't talking about the top 3, but the top 5. Could it be that even a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill could not enter the top 3? Xie Yang and Hang Dong are trying to refine transcendent grade 5 elements blood dragon pills. Old ancestor Ju Mo glanced at the people on the round table and said, although it's difficult for them to refine a transcendent grade elixir with their soul force, as long as they can form the elixir, the final quality will definitely be higher than a high-grade elixir, reaching the half-step transcendent grade 5 elements blood dragon elixir. As for Ning Yu, the elixir he refined is somewhat special. It's very likely that it's not the 5 elements blood dragon elixir. Is that even possible? Peng Ju opened his mouth slightly. Half-step transcendent grade 5 elements blood dragon pill, as the name suggested, was of higher quality than high-grade and lower quality than transcendent grade. As long as Hang Dong and Xie Yang were able to refine this pill, Zhao Kui and Yi Tian would definitely be pushed out of the top 2. Fortunately, Ning Yu didn't refine the 5 elements blood dragon pill. When he turned around and saw Ning Yu busying himself, Peng Ju felt slightly relieved. Among the medicinal herbs in the storage bag, the highest grade of elixir that could be refined was the 5 elements blood dragon pill. Since Ning Yu didn't refine the 5 elements blood dragon pill, it meant that he had lost the qualification to compete for the top 3. He might even be ranked last. I hereby announce that the elixir refined by Yi Tian and Zhao Kui is a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. At this moment, Dan Chunzi picked up the elixir on the stone table and said in a clear voice, "There's still half an hour before the end of the elixir refining. If the remaining alchemists want to compete for the top 3, they must at least refine a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. Only then will they have the opportunity to compete for the top 3. Since this round was a competition to see who could refine the highest grade elixir, it had nothing to do with time. Even if Zhao Kui and Yi Tian could refine a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill so quickly, they would not have any advantage. As long as the remaining alchemists could also refine a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill, they would have to compete to determine the final ranking. Look, Xie Yang is about to succeed. Suddenly, someone shouted in a low voice, pulling everyone in the square back from their shock. This time, everyone looked at Xie Yang's round table in unison. This was because Xie Yang had already refined all the medicinal ingredients and was only one step away from successfully refining the elixir. Rumble. However, before Xie Yang could finish refining the elixir, Hang Dong's eyes turned cold on another round table. In an instant, the lid of the cauldron in front of him flew out, and a round elixir shot out from the cauldron. Swoosh! Hang Dong stomped his feet on the ground and suddenly dashed out, firmly grabbing the elixir in his hand. A half-step transcendent 5 elements blood dragon pill. Dan Chunzi and Peng Ju swallowed a mouthful of saliva when they sensed the aura emitted by the elixir in Hang Dong's hand. Their faces were filled with shock. Although they had already guessed this outcome, they still could not accept it when it happened. Boom! However, before their shock disappeared, Xie Yang also slapped the cauldron and took out an elixir of the same quality. It was also a half-step transcendent 5 elements blood dragon pill. There are really hidden dragons and crouching tigers in this year's alchemy competition. They can even refine a half-step transcendent 5 elements blood dragon pill. It's really terrifying. In this case, Zhao Kui and Yi Tian have been pushed down to 3rd and 4th place. It's hard to say. There are still 6 other alchemists. Who knows, there might be someone who can refine a half-step transcendent blood dragon pill. Crack! Zhao Kui and Yi Tian's faces turned ashen when they heard the discussions of the surrounding martial artists. Originally, they thought they could take 1st and 2nd place. Who would have thought that Xie Yang and Hang Dong would be so heaven-defying and both refine a half-step transcendent 5 elements blood dragon pill? Now, we're tied for 3rd place. If someone refines a half-step transcendent 5 elements blood dragon pill, Yi Tian said with a grave expression, "That's impossible. Among these alchemists, only Xie Yang, Hang Dong, and Ning Yu have high alchemy standards," Zhao Kui said in a deep voice. "The rest are all mediocre." At most, they can refine a mid-grade 5 elements blood dragon pill. Ning Yu might also be able to refine a half-step transcendent 5 elements blood dragon pill, Yi Tian said worriedly. Master just told me that Ning Yu didn't refine a 5 elements blood dragon pill. Zhao Kui said gloomily, the 5 elements blood dragon pill is a mid-grade 6th grade pill. If Ning Yu doesn't refine a 5 elements blood dragon pill, he'll definitely lose. That's good, that's good. Yi Tian took a deep breath and slightly relaxed. He had lost the soul wood to Ning Yu. If he still couldn't win the top 3 in the alchemy competition, one could imagine how Dan Chunzi would punish him. Now that he heard that Ning Yu didn't refine a 5 elements blood dragon pill, he even wanted to dance in front of so many people to celebrate. Don't think too much about it. After the alchemy competition is over, it'll be Ning Yu's time of death. Zhao Kui's lips curled up as he said coldly, the overlord of Great Hill Royal City, the Sichu family's patriarch and Sichu family's patriarch have already arrived at the capital. When the time comes, you and I will insist that Sichu Wen's disappearance has something to do with Ning Yu. Yi Tian, what are you doing? Zhao Kui was thinking about how to sow discord between the Sichu family and Ning Yu. However, when he saw Yi Tian's surprised expression, he could not help but be a little stunned. Gulp. Look at Ning Yu. Yi Tian swallowed a mouthful of saliva, his face revealing an extremely incredulous expression. Chapter 663. Meddling. Can Ning Yu really refine a transcendent grade 5 elemental blood dragon pill? Zhao Kui pursed his lips, thinking that Yi Tian was making a mountain out of a molehill. He had already learned from Peng Zhu that Ning Yu did not refine a 5 elemental blood dragon pill. Since Ning Yu did not refine a 5 elemental blood dragon pill, it meant that Ning Yu could not defeat them, which meant that they were still in 3rd place. Seeing Zhao Kui's nonchalant expression, Yi Tian swore and said coldly, why don't you King take a look at Ning Yu? Fine, I'll take a look. Ning Yu can still CK. As he spoke, Zhao Kui turned his head and looked at the round platform where Ning Yu was sitting. It would have been fine if he did not look, but when he did, Zhao Kui also swore. His expression turned extremely grave. On the round platform, Ning Yu threw the last medicinal ingredient into the cauldron. At the same time, his peak 5th grade soul force poured into the cauldron. Not only that, but Ning Yu also brought out his primordial qi and began to burn the bottom of the cauldron together with the indigo spiritual fire. Sizzle. As the temperature at the bottom of the cauldron continued to rise, sizzling sounds came from the cauldron, and the sounds were getting louder and louder. Bang! 10 minutes later, a crisp sound came from the cauldron and resounded throughout the square. Rise! With a low shout, Ning Yu's eyes shone with a cold light as he lifted the lid of the cauldron. Following that, a blood-red pill appeared in Ning Yu's hand. Whoosh! Looking at the blood-red pill in Ning Yu's hand, the entire square was in an uproar. It was not that Ning Yu had refined a transcendent grade 5 elemental blood dragon pill, but that none of the alchemists in the square could recognize the pill that Ning Yu refined. This made things awkward. The elixir in Ning Yu's hand is not the 5 elements blood dragon elixir. I also know that it's not a 5 elements blood dragon pill, but the aura emitted by the pill is relatively vigorous, and the quality is not too bad. It should also be a grade 6 pill. The 5 elements blood dragon elixir is a tier 6 intermediate elixir. Unless the elixir in Ning Yu's hands is a tier 6 advanced elixir, it won't be able to enter the top 3. It doesn't need to be a late-stage 6th grade medicinal pill. At this time, an early-stage 6th grade alchemist said, if I'm not wrong, the quality of the pill in Ning Yu's hand is very high, so as long as it's confirmed that the pill is an early-stage 6th grade alchemist, he can still enter the top 3. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. When Ning Yu completed the pill, old ancestor Ju Mo and the others instantly tore through the void and appeared beside Ning Yu. Among them, old ancestor Ju Mo said solemnly, bring the pill over and let me see. Show. Without the slightest hesitation, Ning Yu directly threw the pill to old ancestor Ju Mo. Old ancestor Ju Mo caught the pill and split out a wisp of his soul force to carefully examine it. After a long time, old ancestor Ju Mo said, this pill is not the 5 elements blood dragon elixir. We all know it's not the 5 elements blood dragon elixir, Peng Ju said inwardly. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that Ning Yu didn't refine the 5 elements blood dragon elixir, but old ancestor Ju Mo actually took a while to confirm it. However, old ancestor Ju Mo's next words made Peng Ju dumbfounded. Although it's not the 5 elements blood dragon elixir, the quality of this pill is much higher than the 5 elements blood dragon elixir. A wisp of flame appeared on old ancestor Ju Mo's fingertip and started burning the pill refined by Ning Yu. Crack, 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 crack. Suddenly, 6 cracking sounds rang out, and 6 blood-red marks appeared on the pill. What kind of pill is this? Why haven't I seen it before? Peng Ju tried his best to calm down and asked in confusion. The 6 elements blood dragon elixir, old ancestor Ju Mo said solemnly. There are 5 blood-red marks on the 5 elements blood dragon elixir, but there are 6 blood-red marks on the 6 elements blood dragon elixir. There are records of the 6 elements blood dragon elixir in Danwu College's ancient books. Unfortunately, its refining method has been lost. Since the refining method has been lost, how could Ning Yu refine it? Peng Ju hurriedly asked. Don't think that others can't refine it if you can't. Ning Yu shrugged and said indifferently, I'm more suspicious of Zhao Kui and Yi Tian. They are only grade 5 alchemists. How could they refine a high-grade 5 elements blood dragon elixir? You. Peng Ju's face turned cold, but he tried his best to restrain himself and said coldly, Zhao Kui and Yi Tian refined the 5 elements blood dragon elixir with their real skills, unlike you who refined some 6 elements blood dragon elixir. Peng Ju rolled his eyes and continued, moreover, the medicinal ingredients I gave you can only refine a 5 elements blood dragon elixir at most. The 6 elements blood dragon elixir you refined must have additional medicinal ingredient. The ignorant are fearless. There are really a lot of idiots out there. Ning Yu ignored Peng Ju and turned to old ancestor Ju Mo Sr. I refined the 6 elements blood dragon elixir, and its quality has reached the high grade. The high-grade 6 elements blood dragon elixir is indeed of a higher quality than the high-grade 5 elements blood dragon elixir. Old ancestor Ju Mo's eyes swept across the remaining round tables. He pondered for a moment and said, the other alchemists shouldn't be able to refine the high-grade 5 elements blood dragon elixir. Therefore, I hereby announce that the top 3 in this competition are Hang Dong, Xie Yang, and, wait. Before old ancestor Ju Mo could finish speaking, Dan Chunzi came over and said coldly, no one has seen the 6 elements blood dragon elixir before, so no one is convinced that Ning Yu refined the 6 elements blood dragon elixir. No one is convinced. In my opinion, you're the one who isn't convinced. Old ancestor Ju Mo raised an eyebrow and his face turned cold. Haha. Dan Chunzi said that no one is convinced. Of course, no one is convinced. At that moment, a hearty laughter rang out from the void. Then, 2 figures landed steadily beside Ning Yu and the others one after the other. Hiss. When Ning Yu sensed the powerful aura from the 2 figures, his face turned solemn and he sucked in a breath of cold air. The peak of the yin-yang realm, half-step manifestation realm, the middle-aged man's cultivation base was at the peak of the yin-yang realm, while the old man's cultivation base was at the half-step manifestation realm, just like old ancestor Ju Mo. I was wondering who it was. So it's Patriarch Situ and old ancestor Situ. Old ancestor Ju Mo raised an eyebrow and said calmly, I wonder what old ancestor Situ's intentions are by participating in the alchemy competition jointly organized by the Alchemy Union and Danwu College. Hee. What old ancestor Situ? Just call me Situ Zheng. The old man smiled and said, it's not that I'm participating in the alchemy competition, but this alchemist's soul strength is only at the peak of grade 5. I can't help but be suspicious that he can refine the 6 elements blood dragon elixir. You mean? Old ancestor Ju Mo frowned. It's simple. Let this alchemist refine another 6 elements blood dragon elixir in front of us. Then, I'll believe him and admit that he's in the top 3 of the alchemy competition, Situ Zheng said coldly. The alchemy competition is jointly organized by Danwu College and the Alchemy Union. No outsiders are allowed to behave atrociously. Chapter 664. Black Evil Old Monster. Hehe, I'm not an outsider. Sichu Zheng did not get angry when he heard old ancestor Jumo's words. Instead, he smiled and said, "Strictly speaking, I'm also a member of the Alchemy Union. Naturally, I have the right to intervene in the competition. I don't care if you're from the Alchemy Union or not. This is the capital of the Great Xia Kingdom, not the Great Hill Kingdom," old ancestor Jumo said in a deep voice. "I know this is the capital of the Great Xia Kingdom." Sichu Zheng did not seem to want to give up. He looked at Black Widow on the other side and took out a crystal ball from his pocket. Crack! Sichu Zheng crushed the crystal ball easily with a little force. Buzz! The moment the crystal ball shattered, the space in the area seemed to tremble. Then, a figure appeared from the void. Grandfather! In the distance, Zhao Kui's eyes widened as he stared at the figure that suddenly appeared in the void. His face was filled with astonishment. Zhao Kui thought that only the Sichu family from the Great Hill Kingdom had come. Who would have thought that his grandfather would come too? Zhao Mu, the old ancestor of the Zhao family from the Kingdom King City. Old ancestor Jumo's face turned grave when he sensed the aura that Zhao Mu exuded. If it was just Sichu Zheng, a half-step manifestation realm martial artist, he would not be afraid. After all, he had the half-step manifestation realm Black Widow on his side. But after Zhao Mu appeared, things had become very difficult. Old ancestor Jumo, Sichu Zheng is right. Let this alchemist refine the 6 elemental blood dragon elixir again. Zhao Mu did not beat around the bush and went straight to the point. He pointed at Ning Yu and said, "As long as he can refine the 6 elemental blood dragon elixir, we have nothing to say." That's a nice way of putting it. Old ancestor Jumo took a deep breath and said, "The 6 elemental blood dragon elixir is not only difficult to refine, but it also consumes a lot of yuan qi and soul strength. Even an ordinary peak grade 6 alchemist cannot refine 2 cauldrons of 6 elemental blood dragon elixir in such a short time, let alone a peak grade 5 alchemist like Ning Yu. Let's discuss this. We can give Ning Yu 10 minutes to rest," Sichu Zheng said. "There's no room for discussion." Forefather Jumo's tone was firm. "Old ancestor Jumo, you have to negotiate with me today." Right at this moment, a low shout resounded in this area. Not good. The moment he heard the low roar, Ning Yu's complexion changed greatly. He hurriedly summoned the yuan in his sea of consciousness and wrapped it around his wrist. With a backhand punch, he punched out. Pa! In the next moment, a muffled sound was heard and Ning Yu's body fell backward like a kite with a broken string. Damn it! At the critical moment, Ning Yu hurriedly released all the essence qi in his body and gathered it on his ankle, dispersing most of the force. Poochie. Even so, Ning Yu still fell heavily to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. Black evil monster. Forefather Jumo's heart sank when he saw Ning Yu fall to the ground with a single punch. Sichu Zheng and Zhao Mu were 2 half-step manifestation realm cultivators, so they were not too strong. Forefather Jumo could even fight against them alone. However, Black Evil Monster was different. Whether it was his martial arts or alchemy skills, he was comparable to Forefather Jumo. "Forefather Jumo, why don't you give me some face today and let Ning Yu refine the 6 elemental blood dragon pill again?" Black Evil Monster shrugged and said, "I asked Dan Chunzi for an elixir in the past, so I will definitely interfere in his matters. Ning Yu is the false holy son of Danwu College. If I..." Forefather Jumo gritted his teeth. "Senior, isn't it just refining the 6 elemental blood dragon pill again? It's not a big deal." When he saw Forefather Jumo's grave expression, Ning Yu interrupted him and said indifferently, "A mere 6 elemental blood dragon pill is not a problem for me." Ha ha ha. Zhao Kui and Yi Tian could not help but burst into laughter when they heard Ning Yu's words. A mere 6 elemental blood dragon pill? How could Ning Yu say such a thing? The 5 elemental blood dragon pill was a mid-tier 6th grade elixir. From this, it could be seen that the quality of the 6 elemental blood dragon pill had to be at the peak of mid-tier 6th grade, or even late-tier 6th grade. With Ning Yu's alchemy skills, if he did not use the soul wood. Right. The soul wood. At this thought, Zhao Kui hurriedly transmitted his voice to his grandfather, Zhao Mu. "Grandfather, don't let Ning Yu use the soul wood. I suspect that the first time he refined the 6-elemental blood dragon pill, he relied on the soul wood to refine it. Don't worry, I've already thought of that. Zhao Mu waved his hand, signaling Zhao Kui not to worry at all. In fact, Zhao Mu, Sichu Zheng, and Forefather Black Evil had already arrived at the capital. Dan Chunzi had already used a secret technique to inform them of what had just happened. In the beginning, they did not want to all come out. In their opinion, it was enough to make Forefather Jumo retreat. However, Forefather Jumo was so stubborn that the three of them had no choice but to come out together. For the sake of fairness, you cannot use anything that strengthens the soul, Forefather Black Evil said in a clear voice. That includes a heaven-defying artifact like the soul wood. Swish. Forefather Black Evil's shamelessness caused Ning Yu's expression to instantly turn cold. If he could not use the soul wood, his chances of refining the 6-elemental blood dragon pill would drop by several tens of %. This was because the refinement of the 6-elemental blood dragon pill had extremely high requirements on the strength of one's soul. Without reaching grade 6, it was almost impossible to succeed. By the way, I heard that you won the soul wood from Yi Tian through crafty schemes. Forefather Black Evil didn't seem to want to give up just like that. He said again, how about this? If you can't refine a high-grade 6-elemental blood dragon pill, no, if you can't refine a transcendent grade 6-elemental blood dragon pill, you'll have to return the soul wood to Yi Tian. Shameless. Extremely shameless. Ning Yu had seen shameless people in the past, but this was the first time he had seen Forefather Black Evil act so brazenly. Forefather Black Evil, are you determined to go against Danwu College? Forefather Jumo couldn't bear to watch Forefather Black Evil's shamelessness. He said coldly, I'm not the only half-step manifestation realm martial artist in Danwu College. I'm not going against Danwu College. Forefather Black Evil smiled and said to Forefather Jumo through soul transmission, don't think I don't know. Right now, Danwu College's people are fighting with the corpse sect's experts in the Coiling Dragon Ridge. They have no time to care about what's happening here. Forefather Jumo released his aura. He had no intention of backing down. Forefather Black Evil, right? But just as Forefather Jumo released his aura, Ning Yu's voice slowly sounded in the area. I can agree to all of your requests, but I have a small request. I don't know if you dare to agree to it. Do I dare to agree to it? Forefather Black Evil pointed at his nose and said coldly, I'm a half-step manifestation realm martial artist. Why would I be afraid of you? Very well, then I'll state my request. Ning Yu remained expressionless and said calmly. Chapter 665. Agree you want me to give you millions of transcendent grade essence crystals as compensation? Old Freak Black Nefarious couldn't believe his ears. He said in a deep voice, you're very arrogant. You're the first primordial core realm martial artist to dare say such words to me. If that's the case, I'm very honored, Ning Yu said lightly. You're indeed honored. Old Freak Black Nefarious said coldly, enough nonsense. Start refining the 6 elements blood dragon pill. I'll agree to all your requests. Peng Ju. Give another storage bag to Ning Yu. I want to see how he can refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. Old Freak Black Nefarious turned to look at Peng Ju and said in a deep voice. Swish. Peng Ju had already prepared several storage bags. Now that he heard Old Freak Black Nefarious words, he directly took out a storage bag from his bosom and threw it to Ning Yu. Pa. Ning Yu stretched out his palm and caught the storage bag firmly. Subsequently, Ning Yu divided a bit of his perception into the storage bag. After confirming that the medicinal ingredients in the storage bag hadn't decreased, he immediately took out the pill furnace and began refining the 6 elements blood dragon pill in front of everyone. Old Freak Black Nefarious, the 6 elements blood dragon pill can't be refined in a short time. Let's go to the high platform and wait. Old Freak Ju Mo had always felt that Ning Yu was somewhat unusual. Ning Yu's calmness surprised him. However, old ancestor Ju Mo knew very well that the 6 elements blood dragon pill was extremely difficult to refine, and it couldn't be disturbed by outsiders. If Old Freak Black Nefarious and the others used tricks to disturb Ning Yu, the gains wouldn't make up for the losses. Alright, but someone needs to guard here to prevent Ningyu from cheating. Old Freak Black Nefarious thought for a moment and said, Dan Chunzi, you guard here and ensure that Ningyu doesn't cheat. With that, the black evil monster's figure flashed and he flew toward the high platform. However, after taking a few steps, Old Freak Black Nefarious stopped as if he had thought of something. Dan Chunzi, you should be very familiar with the soul wood. Keep an eye on Ningyu. Don't let him use it. After saying that, Old Monster Black Evil gave Old Ancestor Jumo a provocative look before leaping off the ground and rushing towards the platform. Damn it! Ancestor Jumo cursed inwardly and followed behind Old Monster Black Nefarious. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. After Forefather Jumo and Old Monster Black Evil left, Realm King City's Jiao Mu, Great Hill Royal City's Situ Zheng, Situ Clan's Patriarch, and even Black Widow and Peng Ju did not stay. They tore through the void and appeared on the high platform. At this moment, only 2 people remained on the round platform. One was Dan Chunzi, and the other was naturally Ningyu. Humph. If he doesn't use the soul wood, he'll be lucky enough to refine an inferior grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill, let alone a supreme 6 elemental blood dragon pill. Dan Chunzi sneered as he watched Ningyu throw the medicinal herbs into the cauldron. Once you fail, I'll immediately take you down and snatch the soul wood. Dan Chunzi did not doubt Ningyu's alchemy skills at all. This was because he firmly believed that Ningyu would never be able to refine a supreme 6 elemental blood dragon pill. Moreover, that was under the premise that he did not use the soul wood. If someone told Dan Chunzi that Ningyu could refine a supreme 6 elemental blood dragon pill, Dan Chunzi would probably fly into a rage on the spot and teach that person a lesson. Wasn't that just lying through his teeth? Li Tongtian, you seem to be more familiar with Ningyu. Below the round platform, Hang Dong frowned slightly and said solemnly, do you know how strong Ningyu's actual alchemy skills are? That's hard to say. Li Tongtian had already completed his alchemy. He had refined a medium-grade 5 elemental blood dragon pill and was unable to compete for the top 3 spots. Hearing Hang Dong's words, Li Tongtian pondered for a moment and said, I believe in Ningyu. He should have a 10%, no, a 20% chance of refining a supreme 6 elemental blood dragon pill. 20% chance. You're overestimating that brat Ningyu. Before Hang Dong could speak, Zhao Kui said darkly, Ningyu was only able to refine a superior 6 elemental blood dragon pill by sheer luck. Moreover, he only managed to do it with the help of the soul wood. Now that he can't use the soul wood, how is he going to refine the 6 elemental blood dragon pill? That's right. If nothing goes wrong, Ningyu's pill will explode in another 10 minutes or so, Yi Tian added. What an idiot. At this moment, Xie Yang, who was on the other side, curled his lips and said, although Ningyu offended the 13th prince and deserves a beating, it's undeniable that his alchemy skills are very high. They might even be on par with mine. Who are you calling an idiot? Xie Yang's voice was not soft. Naturally, Zhao Kui and Yi Tian heard him loud and clear. They rebuked him in unison. Short-sighted fools. I can't be bothered to talk to you. Xie Yang snorted coldly. He turned around and walked away, intending to leave the square. Damn it. Go. Xie Yang's last sentence seemed to have triggered Yi Tian and Zhao Kui. Without another word, they rose from the ground and launched a powerful attack at Xie Yang. Xie Yang did not take Yi Tian and Zhao Kui to heart as they approached him. He continued walking forward. Whoosh. However, Xie Yang had only taken a few steps when Zhao Kui and Yi Tian appeared on either side of him. They each threw a punch at his face. Crack, crack. At this critical moment, Xie Yang quickly attacked with both hands. In the time it takes for a spark to fly off a flint, 2 crisp voices came from beside him. Ah, ah. What followed were 2 miserable shrieks that sounded like pigs being slaughtered. Me. You guys sneak attacked me. It's not too much for me to kill you. Xie Yang snorted coldly, his eyes filled with killing intent. Hiss. As soon as Xie Yang's killing intent appeared, Zhao Kui and Yi Tian gasped and took a few steps back. If you have the time to attack me, you should think about how to get rid of Ningyu, Xie Yang said. He left the square without looking back. Zhao Kui and Yi Tian clenched their fists as they watched Xie Yang's disappearing figure. A vicious look appeared on their faces. Hiss, hiss. Just as they were thinking about how to get back at Xie Yang, a hissing sound came from the round platform and reached their ears. Hearing the hissing sound, they quickly turned to look at the round platform. Zhao Kui's mouth was agape when he saw Ning Yu's actions on the round platform. He was dumbfounded. He actually refined all the medicinal herbs. How can he be so fast? It's been less than 10 minutes. How did Ning Yu do it? Yi Tian was also stunned. He could not believe what he was seeing. Even a pinnacle 6th grade alchemist might not be able to refine all the medicinal herbs in less than 10 minutes. I have to speed up. On the round platform, Ning Yu kept channeling his primal qi into the alchemy cauldron. At the same time, his pinnacle 5th grade soul force poured out and attached to the walls of the cauldron. Chapter 666. A 50% chance. If I want to refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, I must have a 6th grade soul force. Ning Yu turned his head to look at Dan Chunzi, who was staring at him, and quickly thought of a countermeasure. The 6 elements blood dragon pill had a very high requirement for soul force. It was basically impossible to refine with a 5th grade soul force. If he could use the soul wood, Ning Yu would not care too much. After all, he could rely on the soul wood to raise his soul force to the 6th grade in a short time. Now that he could not use the soul wood, he could only take the risk and borrow Zun Jianwen's soul force in front of Dan Chunzi. Zun Jianwen, under the premise of not being discovered by Dan Chunzi, how confident are you in transferring your soul power into the alchemy furnace? Ning Yu's mind moved, and he began to contact Zun Jianwen 50%. Zun Jianwen pondered for a moment and said solemnly, Dan Chunzi's perception is very strong. Under his eyes, I only have a 50% chance at most. 50% is not low. Ning Yu fell into deep thought. As long as Zun Jianwen's peak 7th grade soul force could enter the furnace, Ning Yu had 99% confidence in refining a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. But doing so was also risky. Given Dan Chunzi's character, once he found a clue, he would definitely attack directly without the slightest consideration. Zun Jianwen, I will put my palm into the furnace later. You must seize this opportunity. Ning Yu took a deep breath and slapped the furnace with his left hand. Suddenly, the lid flew up slightly. The moment the lid flew up, Ning Yu suddenly stretched out his right hand and put it into the furnace in front of everyone. Clatter. Ning Yu's action immediately caused an uproar among the surrounding martial artists. In about 15 minutes, Ning Yu can't have refined a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, right? Impossible. If Ning Yu can refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, I will write my name backward. Why did Ning Yu put his hand into the furnace? Holy shit, Ning Yu took his hand out again. Everyone's discussion didn't last long before they were once again attracted by Ning Yu. On the round platform, Ning Yu quickly removed his right hand from the pill furnace. At the same time, he increased the intensity of the flame, burning the bottom of the pill furnace. Seeing this, everyone felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted from their shoulders, and they slightly relaxed. If Ning Yu really refined the transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill so quickly, it was estimated that many alchemists would lose the courage to refine pills. What the hell is he doing? Although Ning Yu did not refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, Dan Chunzi did not look relieved. On the contrary, he looked very serious. After a short while, Dan Chunzi shook his head and continued to increase his perception, paying close attention to Ning Yu's movements. Forget it. So long as he doesn't use the soul wood, he'll definitely be unable to refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. Zun Jianwen, completely conceal yourself. Without my permission, you can obediently stay in the spatial ring. Among all the people present, Ning Yu was the one who felt the most relieved and relaxed. After obtaining Zun Jianwen's peak grade 7 soul force, what Ning Yu needed to do next was to refine the 6 elements blood dragon pill step by step. There was no need to deliberately pursue speed. Of course, he couldn't be too slow. If he was too slow, he would exceed the 1-hour time limit, and the gains wouldn't make up for the losses. Haha, old ancestor Jumo, Ningyu seems to have fallen into a bottleneck. On the high platform, the corners of old freak Black Nefarious' mouth curled up. At the beginning, Ningyu refined all the medicinal ingredients in less than 10 minutes. Old freak Black Nefarious was extremely shocked. He was afraid that Ningyu would really refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. But when he saw what Ningyu did next, he finally relaxed and breathed a sigh of relief. I don't know whether Ningyu is in trouble or not. I only know that if you lose, you will have to leave the capital and give Ningyu millions of transcendent grade origin crystals as compensation. Old ancestor Jumo said coldly, with your status, you will have to prepare at least 2 million transcendent grade origin crystals. How can 2 million transcendent grade origin crystals be enough? I've already prepared them. Old freak Black Nefarious flicked his sleeve, and a storage bag flew towards old ancestor Jumo. Old ancestor Jumo flicked his finger, and a cold light flew out, forcing the storage bag to stop in front of him. Swish. Old freak Black Nefarious stood up from his chair when he saw old ancestor Jumo's actions. The storage bag that he had just thrown wasn't as simple as it looked. He had used a full 80% of his strength. The fact that old ancestor Jumo could resolve it so easily showed that his strength was heaven-defying. It said that old ancestor Jumo's strength is enough to rank in the top 5 of the Great Shia Kingdom. It seems that his reputation is well-deserved, old freak Black Nefarious said in a deep voice. Haha, there are 3 million transcendent grade origin crystals in the storage bag. That's befitting of your status. Old ancestor Jumo didn't answer old freak Black Nefarious' question. Instead, he smiled and said, let me thank you on behalf of Ningyu. No need to thank me. It won't be easy for Ningyu to obtain these transcendent grade origin crystals. Old freak Black Nefarious took a deep breath and said in a sinister tone, the 6 elements blood dragon pill isn't that easy to refine. Let's wait and see. Old ancestor Jumo threw the storage bag to old freak Black Nefarious and didn't say anything else. Since old ancestor Jumo didn't say anything, old freak Black Nefarious naturally wouldn't ask for a snub. He sat back on his chair and chose to close his eyes to rest. For a moment, the entire plaza gradually quietened down. Everyone stared at Ningyu, who was on the round platform. They couldn't even take their eyes off him. Time ticked by, and in the blink of an eye, it had been 50 minutes since Ningyu started refining the 6 elements blood dragon pill. There are only 10 minutes left. I don't think Ningyu will be able to refine the 6 elements blood dragon pill. While Ningyu was refining the 6 elements blood dragon pill, Zhao Kui hurriedly treated his wrist and didn't leave. In his dreams, the 6 elements blood dragon pill is so difficult to refine. If Ningyu can. What? Just like Zhao Kui, Yi Tian simply treated his wrist and stayed in the square. However, just as he was about to join Zhao Kui in mocking Ningyu, he saw a shocking scene. Bang! On the round platform, Ningyu's eyes widened. Under everyone's shocked gazes, he raised his right foot and kicked the cauldron. Swoosh! In the next instant, a pill that contained a blood-red mist shot out of the cauldron and landed firmly in Ningyu's hand. Everyone in the plaza stared blankly at the blood-red pill in Ningyu's hand, speechless for a long time. Supreme 6 Elements Blood Dragon Pill. After a few minutes, someone swallowed a mouthful of saliva, causing the originally quiet plaza to suddenly become noisy. This is unbelievable. This is definitely the most unbelievable thing that has happened in the Great Shia Kingdom this year. Yeah, Ningyu is only a peak 5 elements alchemist, right? How could he refine a supreme 6 elements blood dragon pill? Chapter 667. Not qualified. It really is a transcendent grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill. Everyone's guess was right. Dan Chunzi's expression was extremely ugly and gloomy. He could not understand how Ningyu, whose soul power was only at the peak of grade 5, could refine a transcendent grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill. Dan Chunzi, why aren't you checking the pill? I'll hold old ancestor Jumo back. Just when Dan Chunzi was at a loss of what to do, a soft voice entered his ears. Dan Chunzi rejoiced in his heart when he heard this soft voice. However, his expression did not change as he said, Ningyu, Hand over the medicinal pill in your hand. I want to check it and determine if it is a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. You want to check the pill? Ningyu shook the blood-red pill in his hand and said indifferently, your martial arts strength is not the strongest here, nor is your alchemy level the highest. What qualifications do you have to check this 6 elemental blood dragon pill? I don't have the qualifications. Dan Chunzi pointed at his nose and said coldly, with my cultivation at the peak of the yin-yang realm and the strength of an early-stage grade 8 soul power. Haha, there are many martial artists at the peak of the yin-yang realm. Who do you think you are? Moreover, do you think you are a grade 8 soul power just because your soul power has reached grade 8? I can even say that my soul power has reached grade 9. Ningyu shrugged and smiled faintly. Unless you can also refine a transcendent grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill in front of me. Whoosh. Although Ningyu's voice was not loud, all the martial artists in the square heard it clearly. Dan Chunzi is an early-stage grade 8 alchemist. He can definitely refine a mere transcendent grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill. That's right. Dan Chunzi is the Great Xia Kingdom's alchemy king. I'm guessing he can refine a transcendent grade 6 elemental blood dragon pill in half an hour. Half an hour? You think too highly of Dan Chunzi. An alchemist who couldn't stand Dan Chunzi curled his lips and said with disdain, the refinement method of the 6 elemental blood dragon elixir has long been lost. It can be said that in the vast Great Xia Kingdom, there might not be a second person who can refine the 6 elemental blood dragon elixir. Boom. The words of this alchemist caused a huge uproar in the crowd. The refining method of the 6 elements blood dragon pill was lost. Didn't it mean that Ningyu's ability to refine the 6 elements blood dragon pill was extremely heaven-defying? Dan Chunzi's face turned ashen when he saw everyone's reaction. He wished he could immediately teach Ningyu a lesson. However, he had not lost his rationality. He knew that if he attacked Ningyu now, he would be jumping into a pit of fire. It would be a strenuous and fruitless effort. Ningyu, if you say that I don't have the qualifications to inspect the pills in your hands, then who does? Dan Chunzi took a deep breath and tried hard to calm himself down. There are many people who do. In any case, you've already been excluded. Ningyu's gaze shifted to the high platform, landing on old ancestor Jumo. In a clear voice, he said, Senior, I hope you can come out and inspect whether I'm refining a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill or not. Alright, I also want to see whether you have real talent or not. Old ancestor Jumo responded. He immediately rose from the ground, wanting to tear the void. However, just as old ancestor Jumo was about to move, a huge palm pressed down on his shoulder. Old ancestor Jumo turned his head and looked. It turned out to be old monster Black Evil. What do you mean by this? Old ancestor Jumo said in a deep voice. Old ancestor Black Evil was opposing him at this critical juncture, completely disregarding him. It was obvious that he wanted to interfere with Ningyu's alchemy. Nothing much. I just want to go and have a check with you. Old ancestor Black Evil said indifferently, no matter what, I took out 3 million transcendent grade origin crystals. If you colluded with Ningyu to harm me, wouldn't I suffer a great loss? That seems to make some sense. Old ancestor Jumo's eyes narrowed slightly. On the surface, he muttered to himself, but in private, he sent a soul message to Ningyu. Is the 6 elements blood dragon pill you're refining really a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill? Will it be exposed when we inspect it later? Senior, you can rest assured. The 6 elements blood dragon pill I refined is 100% a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. Old ancestor Jumo was acting on behalf of Ningyu. Ningyu did not dare to lie. That's enough. Old ancestor Jumo nodded. He then tore the void and flew towards Ningyu. I want to see if you can refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. Old ancestor Black Evil gave Zhao Mu and Sichu Zheng a meaningful look. He then tore the void and followed old ancestor Jumo swish. Swish. After old ancestor Jumo and old ancestor Black Evil left, Zhao Mu and Sichu Zheng's figures flickered. They stood on the left and right of the Black Widow. Their intentions were clear. They did not want to let the Black Widow leave the high platform. I want to see what medicine you two have up your sleeves. Despite being surrounded by Zhao Mu and the others, the Black Widow did not show the slightest bit of anger. Instead, she closed her eyes tightly, as if what was happening in the outside world had nothing to do with her. The Black Widow chose to close her eyes and rest. Zhao Mu and Sichu Zheng, on the other hand, were happy to be at ease. They split out a bit of their perception and looked towards the round platform Ning Yu was on. At this time, Old Ancestor Zhu Mo and Old Ancestor Black Evil had already appeared on the round platform. Old Ancestor Black Evil did not beat around the bush and went straight to the point. Ning Yu, hand over the pill in your hand. I want to see if it's a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. Hearing Old Ancestor Black Evil's direct words, Ning Yu's expression turned solemn. He said, "It's not that I don't want to hand it over to you, but I've already promised Old Ancestor Zhu Mo that I will hand it over to him." Swoosh. With that, Ning Yu flicked his sleeve and a blood-red pill flew towards Old Ancestor Zhu Mo. What do you mean by promise? Do you think I would cheat for personal gain? Old Ancestor Black Evil snorted coldly when he saw the blood-red pill fly out of Ning Yu's sleeve. He immediately leaped up and reached out with his right hand, firmly grasping the pill in his hand. However, as soon as Old Ancestor Black Evil grabbed the pill, he sensed something unusual and hurriedly opened his right hand. Damn it! When he saw that the pill in his right hand was not the 6 elements blood dragon pill, Old Ancestor Black Evil's face instantly darkened. He was on the verge of exploding with rage. On the other side, Ning Yu flicked his wrist and a blood-red pill appeared in his hand. "Senior, this is the pill I just refined. Please check it." Ning Yu extended his palm and handed the pill to Old Ancestor Zhu Mo. At such a close distance, it was already too late for Old Ancestor Black Evil to intervene. Old Ancestor Zhu Mo easily took the pill from Ning Yu's hand. Then, Old Ancestor Zhu Mo ignored Old Ancestor Black Evil's murderous gaze and began to seriously examine the pill. After a while, Old Ancestor Zhu Mo raised the blood-red pill above his head and said in a deep voice, "The pill Ning Yu refined is indeed the 6 elements blood dragon pill. Both its quality and purity show that it is a transcendent grade pill. In order to let everyone have a better understanding, I will personally demonstrate for everyone." Then, a flame appeared on Old Ancestor Zhu Mo's fingertip and continuously burned the blood-red pill in his hand. Crack, 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 crack. The pill didn't burn for long before it emitted 6 consecutive cracking sounds that were exceptionally ear-piercing. After the cracking sounds, 6 blood-red marks appeared on the pill's body. Moreover, these marks looked even more obvious. It really is a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. I already said that Ning Yu could definitely refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, but none of you believed me. What did you say? When did you say that? Chapter 668. 3 million whoosh. The Peacemaker's words drew everyone's attention to Dan Chunzi and Peng Ju. Although Dan Chunzi knew that Ning Yu had refined a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, he was still somewhat unwilling to hear it from Old Ancestor Zhu Mo. "We must find a chance to get rid of Ning Yu," Dan Chunzi said fiercely. "Get rid of him. We must get rid of him." Peng Ju was also very angry. Ning Yu had refined a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, which meant that Yi Tian and Zhao Kui could only settle for 4th and 5th place. According to the rules of the alchemy competition, the 4th and 5th place alchemists were not allowed to enter Danwu College's pill cavern to cultivate. After spending so much time and energy, in the end, everything was ruined by Ning Yu. How could Peng Ju and Dan Chunzi not be angry? Peng Ju, it's not convenient for us to get involved in the matter of killing Ning Yu. Dan Chunzi's eyeballs rolled as he spoke to Peng Ju through his soul. Didn't Sichu Wen go missing? Tell the Sichu family head and Sichu Zheng that Sichu Wen's disappearance has something to do with Ning Yu. No, you have to be even more ruthless. Just say that Sichu Wen was killed by Ning Yu. Isn't this a little too extreme? Peng Ju frowned and said, "We don't know if Sichu Wen is dead or not. If Sichu Zheng finds out that we are playing with him, the consequences will be unimaginable." Sichu Zheng was a half-step to the manifestation realm, so Pengju naturally did not want to take such a huge risk. Don't worry. Sichu Wen has been missing for such a long time. He must be dead. Dan Chunzi said coldly, you can't catch the wolf without sacrificing the child. If Sichu Zheng doesn't kill Ningyu, we'll use Yi Tian and Zhao Kui as bait to lure Ningyu. But what if Ningyu stays in Danwu College and doesn't come out? Peng Ju was still a little worried. Dan Chunzi glanced at Lu Jin and the others below the round platform. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly as he said sinisterly, he has no choice but to leave Danwu College. Ningyu was unaware of the conversation between Peng Ju and Dan Chunzi. At this moment, Ningyu looked at the black evil freak and said, you are a half-step manifestation realm martial artist, so I will address you as senior. Ningyu gave the black nefarious old monster a label to prevent him from going back on his word. Senior, you said that as long as I refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, you will immediately leave the capital. Humph. I am a man of my word. Old monster black nefarious harumphed coldly. He had no intention of leaving. At the same time, the black evil monster cast a glance at Zhao Mu and Sichu Zheng. Hiss. Old freak black nefarious face darkened when he saw it. On the round platform, Zhao Mu and Sichu Zheng were completely suppressed by the Black Widow. Their foreheads were covered in beads of sweat. Ningyu, I said that as long as you refine a transcendent grade 6 elements blood dragon pill, I will leave the capital. Now, I am a man of my word. I will leave immediately. Old monster black nefarious did not want to leave. He wanted to pressure Ningyu again. At the very least, he wanted to force Ningyu to spit out the soul wood. However, when he saw Zhao Mu and Sichu Zheng, he instantly changed his mind. Sichu Zheng and Zhao Mu were easily suppressed by the Black Widow. One could imagine that he was no match for the Black Widow and Old Ancestor Ju Mo. The Black Widow is so powerful. Old Ancestor Ju Mo was also very shocked. In Old Ancestor Ju Mo's knowledge, although the Black Widow was not weak, she was not this powerful. The strength that the Black Widow displayed was even comparable to his. Senior, are you going to leave just like that? Did you forget something? Seeing that old monster black nefarious wanted to leave, Ningyu naturally would not let the matter rest. Ningyu took a step forward and said in a deep voice, I remember that not only did you say that you would leave the capital, but you also said that you would give me a few million transcendent grade origin crystals as compensation. With your wealth, I reckon that you can get 5 or 6 million transcendent grade origin crystals just by plucking a strand of hair. Hearing Ningyu's words, including old monster black nefarious and old ancestor Ju Mo, the corners of their mouths twitched a few times. Did he really think that it was that easy to obtain transcendent grade origin crystals? As a half-step manifestation realm old monster black nefarious, his entire fortune might not even have 10 million transcendent grade origin crystals. In order to prevent old monster black nefarious from going back on his word, old ancestor Ju Mo decided to help Ningyu. Old monster black nefarious, take it out. You already prepared 3 million transcendent grade origin crystals. Fine. You win. Being watched by so many people, old monster black nefarious was in a dilemma. However, for the sake of his reputation, old monster black nefarious obediently took out the storage bag and threw it to Ningyu. Take it. There are 3 million transcendent grade origin crystals in the storage bag. Let's see if you have the ability to catch it. Old ancestor Ju Mo's expression changed slightly when he saw the storage bag flying towards Ningyu. He immediately rushed out to catch the storage bag for Ningyu. Swoosh. However, old monster black nefarious figure flickered and appeared in front of old ancestor Ju Mo. Haha, it's just 3 million transcendent grade origin crystals. Do you think I can deceive Ningyu? Old monster black nefarious laughed as he made his move. With Ningyu's strength, it shouldn't be possible that he can't even catch a storage bag, right? Of course I can catch a storage bag. Suddenly, Ningyu raised his eyebrows and quickly reached out with his right hand to grab the storage bag. Ningyu, watch out! Old ancestor Ju Mo shouted when he saw Ningyu's actions. Ha ha ha. Ningyu, you're too naive. Old monster black nefarious laughed maniacally. Even a peak yin-yang realm martialist might not be able to catch my storage bag. I really admire you. Hehe, Ningyu is finished this time. Even if he doesn't die, he'll be severely injured, Dan Chunzi said with a sinister smile. Of course he's finished. Does he think half-step manifestation realm martialists are vegetarians? Peng Ju echoed. I've never thought half-step manifestation realm martialists are vegetarians. However, just as Dan Chunzi and the others finished mocking old monster Black Nefarious, Ningyu's words resounded in the area. From Ningyu's tone, one could vaguely hear a hint of relief. Zun Jianwen, get everyone alive in the storage ring to transfer their primordial energy to my wrist. Although Ningyu sounded very relaxed, he was extremely nervous on the inside. He hurriedly ordered Zun Jianwen and the others to transfer their primordial energy to his wrist. Ningyu sensed an extremely powerful aura coming from the storage bag that was flying towards him. This aura could instantly kill a late-stage yin-yang realm martialist. In the past, Ningyu might have been afraid of this aura. However, he was no longer afraid now. Kai. As the storage bag approached Ningyu, the primordial energy on Ningyu's wrist became denser. In the end, the primordial energy on Ningyu's wrist started pulsating and emitting a sizzling sound. Rumble. In the next moment, a rumbling sound rang out. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Ningyu's wrist collided with the storage bag. Rip! The moment the storage bag and Ningyu's wrist collided, it was torn in half. Hualala. Chapter 669. Plot Gulp. Looking at the mountainous pile of primal crystals on the platform, all the martial artists in the square swallowed their saliva. Their faces were filled with desire. Fortunately, Ancestor Ju Mo and the others had acted as a deterrent on the round platform. Otherwise, Ningyu wouldn't have been able to protect so many transcendent-grade origin crystals by himself. Collect. While everyone was still in shock, Ningyu flicked his sleeves, and several storage bags flew out. A powerful suction force burst out from each of the storage pouches, and in no time, the 3 million supreme-grade origin crystals scattered on the round table were completely plundered. Senior Black Evil, thank you for the 3 million primal crystals. Ningyu put the storage bags into his storage ring and cupped his hands at Old Freak Black Evil. With so many primal crystals, I can try to break through to the yin-yang realm. You win. Old Freak Black Evil resisted the urge to attack. He glared at Ningyu, tore open the void, and entered. You guys can leave too. Not long after the Black Evil monster disappeared, on the other side of the high platform, the Black Widow released Zhao Mu and Sichu Zheng, allowing them to move freely. Zhao Mu and Sichu Zheng didn't say anything. They tore open the void and followed Old Freak Black Evil. Swish. After Zhao Mu and Sichu Zheng left, Black Widow teleported to Ningyu's platform. Congratulations. Not only did you refine the 6-elemental blood dragon pill, but you also obtained 3 million primal crystals, Black Widow said. Ningyu's greatest joy isn't the 3 million primal crystals, but winning first place in the alchemy competition. Old Ancestor Jumo smiled and said, the top 3 of the alchemy competition can enter the pill cavern to cultivate for a day and a night. However, with Ningyu's alchemy talent, I can buy him 2 days and 2 nights. Gasp. Hearing this, Xie Yang, Li Tongtian, and the others all sucked in a breath of cold air and looked enviously at Ningyu. Others might not know what it meant to stay in the pill cavern for 2 days and 2 nights, but they knew it very well. In Danwu College, if the Danwu Pool was the dream place of the Sacred Institute's cultivators, then the pill cavern was the dream place of a fake saint and even a saint. There were even some Tier 7 and Tier 8 pill refiners who dreamed of entering the pill cavern to cultivate for a period of time. Damn it. Damn it. This time should have belonged to Yi Tian and Peng Ju. Dan Chunzi's expression was extremely gloomy and unsightly. Don't worry, Ningyu won't enter the pill cave so quickly. At this time, Peng Ju was very calm. He said calmly, if nothing goes wrong, Ningyu will probably enter the pill cavern early tomorrow morning. We'll make good use of tonight and try to get rid of him. Time is of the essence. Let's contact Sichu Zheng and the rest as soon as possible. Dan Chunzi did not want to stay here for a moment longer. He said in a low voice, Peng Ju, since the alchemy competition has ended, hurry up and announce it. Don't delay any longer. Cough cough. Peng Ju coughed dryly and said in a clear voice, the alchemy competition has ended. First, I'd like to congratulate the top 3 cultivators, Ningyu, Xie Yang, and Hang Dong. Just now, Patriarch Jumo said that Hang Dong and Xie Yang can enter the pill cavern to cultivate for a day and night, while Ningyu can enter the pill cavern to cultivate for 2 days and 2 nights. At this point, Peng Ju paused for a moment before continuing, don't be discouraged if you didn't get into the top 3. From now on, the Alchemy Union will hold an alchemy competition, and all genius alchemists will be able to participate. Oh yes, I'll distribute the resources for the next year based on the performance of the alchemists in each city's alchemy union. The many cultivators in the square had waited for so long because they wanted to see if Ningyu could refine a supreme grade 6 elements blood dragon pill. On the other hand, they were waiting for Peng Ju to say this. After all, many of them were from the Alchemy Union. They had come to the capital to participate in the alchemy competition to fight for more resources for their alchemy union. Ningyu, the alchemy competition has ended. Do you want to return to Danwu College with me? Patriarch Ju Mo ignored Peng Ju's words and started chatting with Ningyu. Senior, let's do it tomorrow. I still have some matters to attend to. Ningyu thought for a moment and said, I'll look for you at Danwu College first thing in the morning. It's fine. If you have matters to attend to, you can go ahead. Now that you're the fake holy son of Danwu College, just tell Li Tongtian if there's anything. He has a way to contact me. Patriarch Ju Mo waved his hand and tore the void apart, disappearing. Ah! Seeing that Patriarch Ju Mo had left, Ningyu turned to look at Li Tongtian. From what Patriarch Ju Mo had said, it seemed that Li Tongtian had a close relationship with him. Seeing that Ningyu was looking at him, Li Tongtian nodded slightly, tacitly agreeing with Ningyu's guess. What the F***ck? He actually has such a powerful backer. Ningyu was a little speechless. It turned out that Li Tongtian had such a powerful backer. It was actually Patriarch Ju Mo, who was half a step to the manifestation realm. How could he have hidden it so well? Ningyu, if you have time, come to the black market. Just as Ningyu was shocked by the relationship between Li Tongtian and Patriarch Ju Mo, the Black Widow quietly came to his side and whispered in his ear, no matter when, I will always welcome you. After saying that, the Black Widow even breathed into Ningyu's ear, making Ningyu's ear itch. Buzz buzz. After that, the Black Widow's lips curled up slightly. Then, in a flash, she disappeared. President Peng, we will also take our leave. After the Black Widow and the rest left, Xiaoji from Drunken Cloud Manor and Zhong Lei from the Zhong family also bade farewell to Peng Ju and left the plaza. Rumble. The departure of the upper echelons was like a fuse that instantly spread throughout the plaza. At this moment, other than those from the Alchemy Union, the rest of the martial artists dispersed. Not long after, the originally noisy plaza was left with only a few hundred people. President Ju, you. Ningyu looked at Ju Tong and said hesitantly. Ju Tong was also from the Alchemy Union. If he chose to stay, Ningyu would naturally give him his full support. Let's go. There's no need to stay. Ju Tong was not an unreasonable person. Ningyu had already offended Peng Ju to this extent. If he stayed, wouldn't he be asking for trouble? Perhaps leaving at this time was the best choice. In that case, let's go to Sikong Ling's place first. After a few rounds of competition in the alchemy competition, Ningyu faintly felt that he was on the verge of a breakthrough. In addition, he had offended Peng Ju and Dan Chunzi. Based on their characters, they would definitely join forces with Sichu Zheng and Zhao Mu to deal with him. Chapter 670. Life and Death Palm. Swoosh. Life and Death Palm. Swoosh. The elixir refining competition jointly organized by the Alchemy Union and Danwu College ended quickly. Originally, everyone thought that the elixir refining competition would take at least a few days to end. Who would have thought that such a tight schedule would lead to the elixir refining competition ending in just one day, and the final 3 would be decided? Ningyu, Hang Dong, Xie Yang. These 3 martial artists would be the focus of discussion in the Great Xia Kingdom for a long time to come. Especially Ningyu. Not only did he become the fake holy son of Danwu College, but he also won first place in the elixir refining competition. Most importantly, Ningyu actually refined a supreme grade 6 elemental blood dragon elixir, slapping Peng Ju and Dan Chunzi in the face. Just imagine, with Dan Chunzi and Peng Ju's character, they would definitely not let this matter rest. Swoosh. At the same time, in the Great Xia Kingdom, in Sikong Ling's residence, a few martial artists stood side by side. You all saw it. During the elixir refining competition, Peng Ju and Dan Chunzi already wanted to kill me. The first martial artist to speak was Ningyu. He paced back and forth in the room and said in a deep voice, Peng Ju and Dan Chunzi are only at the peak of Yin-Yang realm. I'm not afraid of them, but I'm afraid that the black evil old freak and Sichu Zhang will make a move. The black evil old freak. Li Tongtian raised his brows and asked doubtfully, didn't he say that he would leave the capital? Why would he make a move on us? It's not that simple. The black evil old freak will leave the capital on the surface, but he is definitely still in the capital. I embarrassed him during the elixir refining competition, and he will definitely seek revenge, Ningyu said after thinking for a while. If that's the case, why don't we go to Danwu College to hide? With my master, old ancestor Ju Mo, Danwu College will always be the safest place. Li Tongtian still couldn't figure out why Ningyu didn't go to Danwu College to hide. With forefather Ju Mo's status in Danwu College, it was easy for him to protect Ningyu and the others. The safest place is the most dangerous place, and the most dangerous place is the safest place. Ningyu took a deep breath and said, Forefather Ju Mo told me before he left that Danwu College isn't very safe right now. What do you mean? Li Tongtian asked. 80% of Danwu College's higher-ups have gone to the Coiling Dragon Ridge. Only Patriarch Ju Mo is left to hold the fort. Ningyu explained, if we go to Danwu College and lure the black nefarious monster and the others to Danwu College, the consequences will be unimaginable. But Li Tongtian still felt that something was amiss. Logically speaking, Ningyu would not be so unreasonable. Wasn't staying here just to find opportunities for Peng Ju and Dan Chunzi? Sikong Ling, bring them to the secret chamber. Without my permission, no one is allowed to leave before tomorrow morning. Ningyu interrupted Li Tongtian, his tone unquestionable. All right. Li Tongtian wanted to say something else, but seeing Ningyu's expression, he could only sigh and leave the room with Sikong Ling woof woof. Just as Ningyu reached the exit of the room, Furball scurried out of her arms and landed on Ningyu's shoulder. Furball, come back. Lu Jin hurriedly said when she saw Furball's actions. It's fine. Let Furball stay. Ningyu waved his hand, indicating that Lu Jin did not need to worry. Lu Jin had no choice but to reluctantly leave the room and disappear. Swish. Swish. After Lu Jin and the rest left, the Red Devil and the Dark Emperor rushed out of the storage ring. The Dark Emperor shouted as soon as he came out, Ningyu, you won so many supreme crystals this time. You have to give me at least a few million, right? F***CK. Ningyu's eyelids rolled, and he almost fainted. How could the Dark Emperor say something like that? His skin was as thick as a dog's. Don't talk so much. Both you and Hong Mo are at the early stage of Yin-Yang realm. I have 3.6 million supreme origin crystals on me. Can you guys advance to the middle stage of Yin-Yang realm before midnight tonight? Ningyu went straight to the point and didn't argue with the Dark Emperor. Whoosh. Hearing Ningyu's solemn words, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil fell into deep thought. After a while, the Dark Emperor said, if you give me 2 million supreme crystals, I have a 50% chance of advancing to the mid-stage Yin-Yang realm. Then, the Red Devil said, it might be difficult for me to advance further unless the Red Devil Sword can advance to the Monarch realm. That's troublesome. Ningyu fell into deep thought. The Red Devil and the Dark Emperor at the early stage Yin-Yang realm had limited combat strength. They couldn't even contend against a pinnacle Yin-Yang realm martial artist together. Dark Emperor, I'll give you 1.5 million supreme crystals. A moment later, Ningyu said in a deep voice, before midnight tonight, do everything you can to break through to the mid-stage Yin-Yang realm. Red Devil, I'll give you 1 million supreme crystals. Give it a try and see if the Red Devil Sword has a chance of advancing to the Monarch realm. With that, Ningyu flicked his sleeves, and 2 storage bags flew out. One flew into the Dark Emperor's hands, and the other was grabbed by the Red Devil. How stingy. So many supreme crystals, but you only gave me 1. 5 million. The Dark Emperor checked the number of crystals in the storage bag and curled his lips. I'll find a place to devour these crystals. Contact me immediately if anything happens. Buzz buzz. With that, the Dark Emperor burrowed into the void and disappeared. Ningyu, I'll go stand guard at the door. The Red Devil took the storage bag and left the room without even looking at it. Woof woof. After the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil left, Furball scratched Ningyu's hair with his little paw and pointed at the storage ring on Ningyu's wrist. You want supreme crystals too? Ningyu was puzzled. Woof woof. Furball nodded like a human. Seeing that, Ningyu took out another storage bag, which contained 100,000 supreme crystals. Swish. Seeing the storage bag in Ningyu's hand, Furball immediately leaped out and hugged the storage bag tightly with his little paw, his face full of enjoyment. It's dangerous here. You'd better stay in the storage ring. Ningyu smiled. With a thought, a beam of light rushed out from the storage ring, enveloped Furball, and sucked it in. It's time for me to cultivate. After taking care of everything, Ningyu flicked his sleeve and took out the bloodthirsty sword. The bloodthirsty sword was something Ningyu had obtained from Gui Yi. According to the Red Devil's detection, there were 2 arrays inside. One array contained a large amount of liquid yuan qi, and the other contained pure soul force. Using the liquid yuan qi, Ningyu had advanced to the pinnacle of the primal core realm. Now, Ningyu's goal was clear, and that was to use the pure soul force to increase his soul force to the 6th grade. As long as I can increase my soul force to the 6th grade, I can cultivate the 7th form of the netherworld samsara palm. Feeling the dense soul force in the bloodthirsty sword, Ningyu's expression turned serious. The 7th form of the netherworld samsara palm was called the life-death palm. It was extremely powerful. Chapter 671. Yin-Yang Realm. No, it's hard to break this formation. Although Ningyu desperately wanted to increase his soul power to the 6th grade, he knew that the formation within the bloodthirsty sword was very difficult to break. At least, it would be very difficult for him to break it with his current peak primal core cultivation. Looks like I have to increase my cultivation to the early stage of Yin-Yang Realm before trying to break the formation. At this thought, Ningyu immediately took out the remaining supreme grade essence crystals and began to use the spiritual technique to absorb the essence chi in the supreme grade essence crystals. Crack. About 10 minutes later, Ningyu absorbed all the primordial energy in a piece of transcendent grade primordial crystal and shattered it. The speed is too slow. After the supreme grade essence crystal shattered, Ningyu stopped absorbing the essence chi. I have to successfully cultivate the 5th stage of the spiritual technique. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu let go of all distracting thoughts and recalled the cultivation method of the spiritual technique. The speed at which the 4th stage of the spiritual technique absorbed essence chi would not be able to support Ningyu's breakthrough to the yin-yang realm in a few hours. Therefore, it was urgent for him to cultivate the spiritual technique to the 5th stage. The 5th stage of the spiritual technique was more difficult to cultivate. Even though Ningyu had cultivated it in his previous life, he did not dare to let his guard down. Whoosh! As Ningyu recalled the cultivation method of the spiritual technique, he waved his hands rhythmically. To Ningyu's surprise, he didn't encounter too many obstacles when he cultivated the 5th level of the spirit transformation method this time. In half an hour, he had achieved initial success in cultivating the 5th stage of the spiritual technique. An hour later. Phew! Ningyu let out a long breath, his face full of disbelief. Ningyu had never thought that the 5th stage of the spiritual technique could be cultivated so easily. One had to know that in his previous life, it took him a few days to cultivate the 5th stage of the spiritual technique. Whatever, let's absorb the essence first. At this time, Ningyu temporarily gave up on the idea of finding out the truth. Instead, he took out 2 supreme grade origin crystals, held them in each hand, and began to absorb them using the transformation spirit art. Kacha. Kacha. This time, there was no need for 10 minutes, nor 5 minutes. Merely a minute had passed, and the transcendent-grade crystals in Ningyu's palms had completely shattered. Ka. Following that, Ningyu circulated the spirit transformation art and continuously absorbed the essence chi within the supreme-grade essence crystals. As time went on, Ningyu became more and more proficient, and the speed at which he absorbed the essence chi became faster and faster. Bang! Half an hour later, a muffled sound suddenly came from Ningyu's sea of consciousness. Hearing this muffled sound, Ningyu's face lit up with joy. He hurriedly sent a portion of his soul force into his sea of consciousness, controlling all of his yuan chi to enter one of the golden cores. There were a total of 7 golden cores in Ningyu's sea of consciousness. Ningyu was very clear that if he wanted to break through the limit and advance to the yin-yang realm, he had to combine the 7 golden cores into one. When he was in the true martial realm, Ningyu had many phantom golden dans in his sea of consciousness. When he was in the Yuan Dan realm, the number of golden dans in his sea of consciousness was somewhat reduced, but it was still no less than 7. At the peak of the primal core stage, there would be 7 golden cores in the sea of consciousness. This meant that after entering the yin-yang stage, one's strength would be 7 times stronger than an ordinary yin-yang stage warrior. In other words, once Ningyu advanced to the initial yin-yang stage, his strength would be equivalent to the combined strength of 7 yin-yang stage martial artist. Bang! 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 An hour later, another 3 muffled sounds came from Ningyu's sea of consciousness. This time, Ningyu was not too shocked. Instead, he concentrated on absorbing the essence energy inside the transcendent-grade essence crystal. Bang! 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 Another hour later, when the remaining 3 muffled sounds came out, Ningyu flew into the air with a swoosh. His peak 5th-grade soul force poured out, and together with the 5th level of the spirit transformation technique, he frantically absorbed the essence energy inside the transcendent-grade essence crystal. Crack! Just when Ningyu was absorbing the essence energy with all his might, a crisp sound rang out. Then, Ningyu saw that one of the golden cores in his sea of consciousness had completely shattered. Crack! Crack! Before Ningyu could react to the shattering of this golden core, he discovered that the remaining 6 golden cores had also shattered. Damn it! Reassemble! The sudden change caused Ningyu's expression to change drastically. Even beads of sweat continuously dripped from his forehead. Originally, in Ningyu's expectation, it was impossible for the 7 golden cores to completely shatter so quickly. He was not ready to reassemble the golden cores. But now that the matter was pressing, he had to carefully reassemble the golden cores. Buzz! Fortunately, Ningyu's soul force had reached the peak of 5th grade. Otherwise, if the 7 golden cores shattered at the same time, Ningyu would definitely be finished. After all, when Ningyu advanced to the yin-yang realm in his previous life, everything was prepared, and the golden cores did not shatter so quickly. When reassembling the golden cores, Ningyu did not dare to be careless and was very careful. Because if he was not careful, he would be smashed into pieces, and his life would be over. Drip! Drip! Ningyu concentrated on reassembling the shattered golden cores. The beads of sweat on his forehead continuously dripped to the ground, making dripping sounds. Rumble. Time passed quietly under Ningyu's full concentration. In the blink of an eye, 2 hours had passed. When the 3rd hour arrived, a rumbling sound came from Ningyu's sea of consciousness, directly shaking Ningyu far away. Swoosh. Then, a monstrous aura emitted from Ningyu's body, shooting straight into the sky. What's going on? Looking at the direction, it seems to be coming from that luxurious palace. That luxurious palace is the residence of the black market's young master, Sai Kongling. Could it be that Sai Kongling has broken through to the yin-yang realm? A martial artist who knew Sai Kongling's identity frowned. That can't be. During the day, Sai Kongling was only in the middle stage of Yuan Dan. It doesn't make sense that he has advanced to the yin-yang realm in just a few hours. Who cares? Anyway, this matter has nothing to do with us. Let's not interfere. Tomorrow morning, there will definitely be some news. Yes. It's already so late. Let's hurry back and not wander around here. Buzz. Just as everyone was exclaiming about the terrifying aura coming from Sai Kongling's residence, two martial artists quietly appeared at the corner on the other side. If Ning Yu was here, he would definitely notice that he was familiar with these two martial artists. The peak of the Yin-Yang realm, the Sichu clan head, and the half-step manifestation realm, Sichu Zheng. Patriarch, should we go in directly and capture Ning Yu alive? The Sichu clan head frowned as he looked in the direction of the terrifying aura. There's no hurry. I don't really believe what Peng Ju said. Sichu Zheng was very smart. After the alchemy competition, Peng Ju told him that Sichu Wen's disappearance was related to Ning Yu. At that time, Sichu Zheng had some doubts. Now that he sensed the weak aura coming from the void not far away, he was even more certain that there was something fishy about it. Chapter 672. Rank 672 6th grade? Believe. There's something you might not know. Sichu Zheng's expression was solemn as he said in a deep voice, "My spy in regional King City sent back news an hour ago saying that Zhao Mu, that old fart, has already started planning to attack our Sichu family. We can't just sit here and wait for death." What? Sichu Lei almost jumped up when he heard that, and a chill ran down his spine. As the Sichu family's patriarch, he did not know such an important matter. Once the Zhao family of regional King City attacked them, the consequences would be unimaginable. "Patriarch, why don't we return to Great Hill Royal City?" Sichu Lei said hurriedly. "Don't worry." Sichu Zheng waved his hand and said, "My spy has already informed the family's Grand Elder. I believe the Grand Elder must be ready by now." That's good, that's good." Sichu Lei let out a long sigh. If the family was attacked by the Zhao family of regional King City at this time, there was an 80% chance that they would fall. After all, the Zhao family's patriarch did not come, but he came to the capital. In a battle between two powerful families, a martial artist at the peak of Yin-Yang realm could even decide the final outcome. "Let's wait a little longer. We'll attack at midnight," Sichu Zheng said. "Patriarch, if we attack like this, will Danwu College's Patriarch Ju Mo?" Sichu Lei hesitated. "Don't worry. I've received reliable news that Patriarch Ju Mo has already brought the remaining powerhouses of Danwu College to Coiling Dragon Ridge." Sichu Zheng interrupted Sichu Lei and said calmly, "Act calm and pretend that you don't know about Zhao Mu's schemes. We'll capture Ning Yu alive later, then bring him outside the capital and use him to get rid of Zhao Mu. Patriarch Ju Mo has left the capital, but the Black Widow is still in the capital," Sichu Lei said worriedly. "Hehe, the Black Widow is nothing to be afraid of." Sichu Zheng smiled mysteriously and said no more. Swoosh. Just as Sichu Zheng and the rest were talking, a few martial artists were hiding in the void not far away. One of the martial artists said with a slightly solemn expression, "Patriarch Zhao, why aren't Sichu Zheng and the rest attacking? Don't tell me they've discovered us. It doesn't matter whether Sichu Zheng noticed us or not. What's important is that today is the day they die." Zhao Mu gloomily said, "Although old ancestor Ju Mo has left the capital with the experts from Danwu College, he still has a backup plan. The Black Widow from the black market will definitely appear to help Ning Yu. The Black Widow's strength is not to be underestimated. Unless the black diabolical monster personally makes a move, Sichu Zheng will be severely injured or even killed." Zhao Mu continued, "Not long ago, I saw the black evil monster leaving the capital with my own eyes. What we need to do now is to wait here quietly. When Sichu Zheng escapes with severe injuries, we'll immediately attack and kill them. Zhao family head really has a good plan." Dan Chunzi gave a thumbs up and said, "As long as we can deal with Sichu Zheng and Sichu Lei, then the Great Hill Royal City's Sichu clan will collapse by itself. By then, the Realm King City's Zhao clan will be able to annex the Great Hill Royal City and become the second largest city in the Great Xia Kingdom that is only inferior to the capital. It's still too early to think about this. Oh no, be careful." Hearing Dan Chunzi's words, Zhao Mu's lips curled up. However, before he could finish his sentence, his expression changed drastically as he hurriedly said, "Swoosh." As Zhao Mu's voice was heard, a figure tore through the void and landed in the courtyard where Sikong Ling was at an extremely shocking speed. Gasp! This figure was none other than the Black Widow from the black market. As soon as she landed in the courtyard, she immediately sensed a powerful aura coming from the room in front of her. I didn't expect that Ningyu has already advanced to the early stage yin-yang realm in just a few hours. The Black Widow first glanced at the other rooms before walking towards the room where Ningyu was at. Phew. As the Black Widow walked towards the room, Ningyu let out a long sigh of relief with a hint of excitement on his face. I've finally mastered the life and death palm. Now, let's see how powerful it is. After advancing to the yin-yang realm, Ningyu immediately broke the array within the bloodthirsty sword and frantically absorbed the pure soul power within the array. Very quickly, Ningyu completely absorbed the pure soul power. Without a doubt, Ningyu's soul power had risen to the 6th grade level. Now that his soul power had reached the 6th grade level, Ningyu naturally began to practice the 7th form of the Netherworld Samsara palm, the life and death palm. Practicing the life and death palm was surprisingly easy. In just an hour, Ningyu had successfully mastered the life and death palm. Just as Ningyu had successfully mastered the life and death palm, he discovered that a half-step manifestation stage practitioner had appeared in the courtyard. Since that was the case, Ningyu decided to test the power of the life and death palm. In the next instant, Ningyu's eyes narrowed as the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness gushed out and gathered on his wrist along with the early stage 6th grade soul power. His palm brought with it a violent Yuan Qi and a soul wind as he ruthlessly struck out. Not good. Just as the Black Widow arrived at the door, her expression changed slightly as she hurriedly retreated. This was because the Black Widow discovered that a giant palm had rushed out of the room and even the door had been smashed to pieces. Grasping flower palm. At this critical moment, the Black Widow's eyes narrowed slightly as she waved her right hand. A palm similar to a butterfly flower appeared and collided with the palm that had come out of the room. Crack! The two palm prints collided with each other, and a crisp cracking sound rang out. Swoosh! Swoosh! Hearing this cracking sound, two figures suddenly dashed out from two different directions. After these two figures appeared, without a word, they immediately launched a powerful attack at the Black Widow. Faced with the two figures that had suddenly attacked her, the Black Widow's expression was slightly solemn as she hurriedly sent out two palm prints. Rumble. The palm prints dissipated and the two figures' original appearances were revealed. Dark Emperor, Red Devil. Looking at the two familiar figures, Ningyu took a step forward and appeared beside them. He said in surprise, "You guys have advanced to the middle stage yin-yang realm? It's all thanks to your transcendent grade Yuan crystal," the Dark Emperor and Red Devil said in unison. Ningyu did not find it strange that the Dark Emperor had advanced to the middle stage yin-yang realm. However, Ningyu was a little puzzled that the Red Devil had advanced to the middle stage yin-yang realm. After all, the Red Devil relied on the Red Devil sword to advance. No. Thinking of this, Ningyu's mouth opened slightly and he hurriedly said, "The Red Devil sword advanced." The Red Devil's answer made Ningyu a little disappointed. "No, it's just a breakthrough." Since the Black Widow was here, the Red Devil did not explain too much to Ningyu. "Haha, Ningyu, you really gave me a big surprise." At this moment, the Black Widow smiled and said, "I originally thought that you would encounter danger, but now it seems that I was overthinking. If the three of you join forces, you can even fight against a half-step manifestation realm martial artist. Is that so?" Chapter 673. Attack. Who is it? The voice that suddenly sounded caused the Black Widow's expression to change slightly as she asked in a deep voice. Buzz. In the next moment, a crack appeared in the space of this area, and a cultivator slowly walked out of the void. "Hehe, Black Widow, it's only been a few hours and you can't even recognize my voice. How disappointing." After this martial artist appeared, he first looked at Ningyu, then his gaze fell on the Black Widow. He smiled faintly and said, "I only have one goal today, and that is to take Ningyu away, black evil monster." Seeing the true face of the martial artist in front of her, Black Widow's heart sank to the bottom. Didn't the black evil old monster leave the capital? Why is he still here? Strange, isn't it? Old monster Black Nefarious seemed to guess what Black Widow was thinking. He shrugged his shoulders and said, The cultivator who left the capital was only my substitute. I didn't think that old ancestor Ju Mo would be so easily deceived. Substitute. Black Widow's heart skipped a beat. She had a bad feeling about this. Old ancestor Ju Mo had told him that old freak He Xie had already left the capital. She was here to protect Ningyu and only needed to guard against Zhao Mu and Sichu Zheng. Who would have thought that old monster Black Nefarious would suddenly turn around? Ningyu, I'll stop old monster Black Evil later. You guys go first. Now that things had come to this, Black Widow could only choose to fight head-on with old monster Black Nefarious and let Ningyu and the others leave first. Leave? Will they be able to leave? Before Ningyu could say anything, a disdainful voice sounded from nearby. Whoosh, whoosh. Then, two figures flew past and landed steadily in the courtyard. It's you. Looking at the two cultivators who had suddenly appeared, Ningyu said in a deep voice, I knew you were up to no good. You can't say that. It's not that we don't have good intentions. We just suspect that you are related to Sichu Wen's disappearance. Sichu Zheng said, if you obediently follow us back to Da Fu Imperial City, you might be able to keep your life. However, if you are stubborn, then even Da Luo Jinxian can't save you. Old ancestor, why are you talking nonsense with him? I'll take him down first. Beside him, Sichu Lei let out a low growl and immediately leaped up. His fists brought along a powerful Yuan Qi gale as they ruthlessly smashed towards Ningyu's face. Because he was afraid of killing Ningyu, Sichu Lei did not use his full strength in this attack. He only used 50% of his strength. Brat, you can only blame Sichu Wen's disappearance for being related to you. You, not good. Sichu Lei approached Ningyu as he spoke sinisterly. However, before he could finish his sinister words, his expression changed drastically, and he hastily retreated. However, the speed at which he retreated was clearly a little slower. Just as he took 2 steps back, the Dark Emperor and the Red Devil seized the opportunity and struck his face from the left and right respectively. Pa pa. 2 crisp sounds rang out in the area. I was actually beaten by a dog. After stabilizing his body, Sichu Lei covered his slightly swollen face and said angrily, I originally planned to let you live, but now I've changed my mind. I want to cut you into 8 pieces. Humph. It's your honor to hit you. It's your good fortune that you've cultivated for 8 lifetimes. The Dark Emperor snorted coldly, deliberately angering Sichu Lei. You. After being choked by a dog, Sichu Lei immediately wanted to get back at him and kill the Dark Emperor. Enough. However, just as Sichu Lei was about to say something, the black evil monster waved his hand and interrupted him. There's no need to lower yourself to the same level as a dog. You and Sichu Zheng, kill everyone apart from Ningyu. The black evil monster was a half-step manifestation realm martial artist, and his strength was incomparably powerful. Not only did Sichu Lei not dare to disobey his words, even Sichu Zheng did not dare to be negligent. Sichu Lei, go and dig out the people who are hiding and kill them all. Don't show any mercy, Sichu Zheng ordered. As for Ningyu and these 2 fellows, leave them to me. Understood. Sichu Lei glared at the Dark Emperor and Ningyu before rising from the ground and charging towards the secret room where Xikong Ling and the rest were. Damn it. Dark Emperor, how confident are you that you can stop Sichu? F***CK. Seeing Sichu Lei's actions, Ningyu cursed inwardly and hurriedly ordered the Dark Emperor. However, just as Ningyu was about to speak, he realized that the Dark Emperor had already made his move and was charging towards Sichu Lei. The Dark Emperor's understanding made Ningyu very gratified. Hong Mo, let us meet a half-step manifestation realm martial artist today. Ignoring the battle between the Dark Emperor and Sichu Lei, Ningyu turned around to look at Sichu Zheng and said in a deep voice, if the 2 of us join forces, we might be able to fight against a half-step manifestation realm martial artist. Ha ha ha. With just the 2 of you trash? Sichu Zheng seemed to have heard a very funny joke. He threw his head back and laughed maniacally. Soon after, he scolded, today, I will let you know what a half-step manifestation realm martial artist is. Rumble. As soon as Sichu Zheng finished reprimanding, Ningyu noticed that the space in front of him was trembling. Immediately after, a figure appeared from within. Life and death palm. At the crucial moment, Ningyu hurriedly summoned the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness. His fist brought along a violent Yuan Qi gale as it collided with Sichu Zheng's fist. When the two fists collided, nothing earth-shattering happened. There were only two figures rapidly retreating. Whoosh! As far as the eye could see, Ningyu was forced back a dozen steps before he stabilized his body. In contrast, Sichu Zheng had only taken 3 to 4 steps back. Through this exchange, it was enough to show that there was still some gap between Ningyu and Sichu Zheng. Sichu Zheng, what are you doing? We don't have much time. Hurry up and take them down. Do you want me to personally take action? When he saw that Sichu Zheng had failed to defeat Ningyu in a single move, Old Freak Black Nefarious coldly said, Patriarch Jumo will return at any time. If we don't capture Ningyu today, we won't have another chance in the future. I was too careless just now. After he steadied himself, Sichu Zheng rubbed his slightly aching wrist. The aura of a half-step to blessed stage surged out of his body and pressed down on Ningyu. Sichu Zheng might accidentally kill Ningyu with brute force, but his aura was enough to subdue Ningyu. Not good. When she felt the powerful aura from Sichu Zheng's body, Black Widow's eyes widened. She hurriedly released her own aura in an attempt to block it for Ningyu. Hee, Black Widow, if you make a move, I won't hold back anymore. Old Freak Black Nefarious smiled sinisterly as he said in an indifferent tone. Who do you think you are to say you won't hold back? As she watched Sichu Zheng approach Ningyu, Black Widow bit her lips. A powerful aura erupted from her body as she charged at Sichu Zheng. It's been 2 years since I killed a half-step manifestation realm martial artist. I really miss that feeling. Fortunately, you gave me a chance. Chapter 674. Eye of Blood. It's still too early to say who's going to die. The Black Widow growled as she turned around and launched a powerful attack at Old Freak Black Nefarious. She did not hold back at all. Old Freak Black Nefarious was not worried at all as he watched the Black Widow approach him. Instead, he appeared very calm. Sky-breaking palm. Although Old Freak Black Nefarious looked calm on the surface, his heart was extremely solemn. During the alchemy competition, the Black Widow had easily subdued the half-step manifestation stage Jiaomu and Sichu Zheng. This strength was indeed somewhat terrifying. Old Freak Black Nefarious knew that although he could also subdue Jiaomu and Sichu Zheng, it would not be as easy as the Black Widow. Martial artists who could cultivate to the half-step manifestation realm were not idiots. Old Freak Black Nefarious would not risk his life against the Black Widow. What he needed to do was to stop the Black Widow and buy enough time for Sichu Zheng. Rumble. The Black Widow did not think so. Her goal was very clear. She must protect Ningyu. In the next instant, the Black Widow's Yuan energy lightwave collided with Old Freak Black Nefarious sky-breaking palm. A rumbling sound rang out as the palm and Yuan energy lightwave dissipated between heaven and earth. Swish. Swish. After the first strike, the Black Widow did not say anything and once again launched a powerful attack. Mad Dog. Old Freak Black Nefarious did not plan to risk his life against the Black Widow. At this moment, he was fighting a guerrilla battle. The Black Widow and Old Freak Black Nefarious were both half-step manifestation stage martial artists. The difference in strength was not too big, so it would be difficult to determine the victor in a short period of time. On the other side of the battlefield, it was different. Ningyu's cultivation was only at the initial yin-yang stage, while the Hong Mo was only at the middle yin-yang stage. Logically speaking, if a yin-yang stage initial and a yin-yang stage middle stage martial artist worked together, they would not be a match for a half-step manifestation stage martial artist. However, the truth was that Ningyu and the Hong Mo had worked together to forcefully block Sichu Zheng's powerful attack. Damn it! Sichu Zheng's expression became more and more unsightly as his attacks were blocked one after another. He was extremely gloomy. Sichu Zheng originally thought that he could easily subdue Ningyu and the Red Devil with his half-step manifestation realm cultivation base. Unexpectedly, Ningyu and the Red Fiend were so powerful. Hong Mo, I'll stop Sichu Zheng. You and the Dark Emperor take care of Sichu Lei first. Ningyu turned to look at the Dark Emperor and Sichu Lei, who were evenly matched, and bellowed, 3 minutes. I can only block Sichu Zheng for 3 minutes at most. The red demon sword is yours. The red devil was not an indecisive person. He immediately threw the red devil sword to Ningyu and rushed out, instantly appearing beside the Dark Emperor. Ha ha ha, Red Skin, you came at the right time. With the two of us working together, we will definitely be able to easily kill this old fellow. Seeing the red devil coming over, the Dark Emperor laughed. I'm an old guy. Sichu Lei's eyes widened and his face was filled with anger. Today, I will let you know, noisy. The red devil knew that Ningyu would not be able to hold on for long, so he did not waste his breath with Sichu Lei. He immediately executed his most powerful attack and blasted it towards Sichu Lei. Seeing the red devil's actions, the Dark Emperor's eyes narrowed. In an instant, 2 cold glints shot out from his eyes as he cooperated with the red devil to fight with Sichu Lei. Ningyu, I want to see how arrogant you can be after losing a helper. Seeing the red devil leave, Sichu Zheng sneered and said sinisterly, the yuan qi in your body is extremely dense. Today, I will compete with you and see who has the strongest yuan qi in their body. Sky-dominating palm. Sichu Zheng grabbed at the air with both hands, and an extremely dense yuan qi appeared on his wrists. Rumble. As Sichu Zheng pushed out with his right hand, a shocking palm print separated from his palm. Hiss. When Ningyu sensed the violent primordial energy contained in Sichu Zheng's palm print, he did not dare to be careless. He hurriedly summoned all the primordial energy in his body and wrapped it around his palm. Then, he threw out an equally violent palm print. Life and death palm. Ningyu let out a deep roar as the blood-red palm print flew out and collided with Sichu Zheng's sky-dominating palm. Whoosh. Without a doubt, a miracle did not happen. As soon as Ningyu's life and death palm came into contact with Sichu Zheng's sky-dominating palm, it shattered and dissipated between the heavens and earth. After the life and death palm was destroyed, Sichu Zheng's sky-dominating palm did not slow down at all. It soon appeared in front of Ningyu. Solitaire. Looking at the violent palm print that was inches away from him, Ningyu naturally would not sit and wait for death. Unknowingly, the red devil's sword had already appeared in Ningyu's hand. At the critical moment, Ningyu executed the 6th style of the Supreme 9 Pure One's sword art, Solitaire. Ningyu had already cultivated the Solitaire style to the ultimate realm. In the past, due to his low cultivation, he could not unleash its full power. Now that Ningyu had advanced to the early stage Yin-Yang realm, coupled with the red devil sword that had recovered a lot, the power of the sword wave that he slashed out was at least several times stronger. Crack. The powerful sword wave collided with the sky-dominating palm in front of Sichu Zheng's horrified eyes. When the sword wave collided with the palm print, a cracking sound could be heard. Without any suspense, the palm print dissipated, and the sword wave turned into an afterimage that rushed towards Sichu Zheng. F***CK. The sudden change was something that Sichu Zheng had not expected. If he could not take down Ningyu earlier because he had the help of the Red Devil, then now that Ningyu was the only one left, he had no reason to shirk the responsibility. Embarrassing. It was extremely shameful. You forced me to do this. Sichu Zheng took a deep breath, and his eyes turned blood-red. Blood-red eyes. Oh no, it's the blood transformation eye. When Ningyu first saw Sichu Zheng's blood-red eyes, he did not think much of it. However, as Sichu Zheng's eyes continued to turn red and emit a terrifying aura, Ningyu was finally moved. Blood transformation eye. There were many eyes in the boundless world, and the eyes of the evil eye were like the evil eye. However, the evil eye paled in comparison to the blood eye. They couldn't even be mentioned in the same breath. The most special thing about the blood transformation eye was that after going berserk, the martial artist's strength would increase by a level. For example, once Sichu Zheng used the blood eyes, his strength would increase, and he could even reach the level of Old Monster Black Nefarious. I have to stop Sichu Zheng from using the blood transformation eye. Ningyu shouted and took out all the flying swords on him, including the bloodthirsty sword and the soul-chasing sword. 9 in 1 sword formation. Ningyu did not waste any time. He used the Red Devil sword as the eye of the formation, the bloodthirsty sword and the soul-chasing sword on both sides, and the rest of the black-grade and heaven-grade flying swords flew out. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In order to stop Sichu Jing, Ningyu even let Leng Mian, the evil eye, and the others out of his storage ring to attack with him. Time was running out. If he could stop Sichu Zheng from using the blood transformation eye, there was still a chance of survival. Chapter 675. The tree shows its might. Ningyu, I advise you to stop wasting your time. If you surrender now, I can consider sparing your life. After his eyes turned blood red, Sichu Zheng did not take Ningyu's actions seriously at all. This was because from the moment Sichu Zheng's eyes turned red, his strength was increasing at every moment. In just a few dozen seconds, Sichu Zheng's strength had increased by at least 30%, if not more. Go! Ningyu let out a low roar and threw the red demon sword in the air. Sichu Zheng wanted him to surrender. What a joke! He did not know how Sichu Zheng managed to cultivate to the half-step creation realm. He could even say such idiotic words. Whoosh! As Ningyu let out a low roar, dozens of flying swords formed a small sword formation and slashed at Sichu Zheng. The red demon sword was the eye of the formation, while the bloodthirsty sword and soul-chasing sword held the line from the left and right. Child's play. Sichu Zheng's lips curled up into a smile when he saw the countless flying swords coming at him. Then, several cold rays shot out from his eyes and collided with the flying swords. Ding! 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 Countless crisp sounds rang out. All the flying swords that Ningyu had thrown out were hit by the cold rays and fell to the ground. At the same time, a cold ray containing violent energy shot out from the corner of Sichu Zheng's eyes and attacked Ningyu at an astonishing speed. Hold on. At the critical moment, Ningyu hurriedly controlled the three flying swords to return the way they came and blocked in front of him. Whoosh! Who would have thought that as soon as the three flying swords returned, the cold ray that shot out from the corner of Sichu Zheng's eyes would split into three and come into close contact with the three flying swords. Bang! 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 3 consecutive sounds rang out. The soul-chasing sword and the bloodthirsty sword failed to block the cold ray and fell to the ground like the dozens of flying swords before them. As for the red demon sword, since it was a peak king-level flying sword, it managed to block the cold ray. Hihi, to be able to block my cold light, it seems like the grade of your flying sword is not low. The corner of Sichu Zheng's eyes fell on the red demon sword in Ningyu's hand. He raised his eyebrows and said with a smile, "Hand over the flying sword." Forget it, I'll take it myself. As he spoke, Sichu Zheng tore the void with both hands and dived into it. In the blink of an eye, Sichu Zheng appeared beside Ningyu. Sichu Zheng grabbed the red demon sword with his left hand and grabbed Ningyu's neck with his right. In order to completely control Ningyu, Sichu Zheng did not hold back this time. He used 100% of his strength in order to kill Ningyu with one strike. Let's bet. Just as Sichu Zheng was about to reach him, Ningyu's heart jolted as he hurriedly pulled out the branch of the world tree from his storage ring and placed it in his sleeve. The branch of the world tree was extremely terrifying. The reason why Ningyu was able to kill Zhongshan and Yang Fu was mainly because the branch of the world tree had blocked Yang Fu's blessed realm aura. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for Ningyu and the Red Demon to defeat Yang Fu and Zhongshan. Not far away, the Dark Emperor and the Red Demon would need at least a minute to defeat Sichu Lei. Therefore, Ningyu had to hold on for another minute no matter what. But holding on for a minute was easier said than done. At this moment, Ningyu had no other choice but to rely on the branch of the world tree and take a gamble. Ningyu, don't worry. I won't kill you because you're still useful to me. When Sichu Zheng was a meter away from Ningyu, he said sinisterly, I'll cripple your cultivation first and then bring you back to Great Hill Royal City. What a waste of time. The more dangerous the situation was, the calmer Ningyu appeared. There was even a smile on his face. Sichu Zheng's heart skipped a beat when he saw the smile on Ningyu's face. He had a bad feeling about this. What a farce. If he was fighting with a half-step blessed realm martial artist, Sichu Zheng would definitely choose to retreat. However, Ningyu's cultivation was only at the early stage yin-yang realm. He felt that no matter how strong Ningyu was, he could not be that strong. Therefore, Sichu Zheng sped up again and appeared in front of Ningyu in an instant. Sichu Zheng grabbed the red demon sword with his left hand and clenched his right hand into a fist, punching toward Ningyu's chest. This is my chance. Ningyu naturally would not miss such a good opportunity. Just when Sichu Zheng's right hand was about to hit his chest, Ningyu swung his sleeve, and the branch of the world tree blocked in front of his chest. You want to stop me with a stupid branch? You must be dreaming. Sichu Zheng did not care about the branch in front of Ningyu's chest. He increased his strength and punched the branch of the world tree. Crack! In the next instant, a crisp sound was heard. However, it was not the sound of the branch of the world tree breaking, but the sound of Sichu Zheng's right finger breaking. Ah! Along with the sound of the finger breaking, Sichu Zheng screamed like a pig being slaughtered. Swoosh! After the scream, Sichu Zheng immediately retreated. He did not dare to stay any longer. Trying to leave? It's not that easy. How could Ningyu allow Sichu Zheng to retreat? This might be the best opportunity to kill Sichu Zheng. If he missed this opportunity, he would not get another one. When his right hand collided with the branch of the world tree, Sichu Zheng's aura dropped temporarily. To be precise, in the next minute, Sichu Zheng could only unleash the strength of a peak yin-yang realm. Ningyu was definitely not a match for Sichu Zheng, who was at the half-step blessed realm. However, Ningyu had a 50% chance of killing Sichu Zheng, who was at the peak yin-yang realm. Solitaire. In order to kill Sichu Zheng with a single strike, Ningyu did not hold back. All the Yuan energy in his sea of consciousness surged out and entered the red demon sword. Ningyu did not dare to waste any time. As he slashed out Solitaire, he wrapped the indigo spiritual fire and early stage grade 6 soul power around his wrist and sent out a shocking palm print. Life and Death Palm. The Life and Death Palm was the 7th form of the Netherworld Samsara Palm. In terms of power, it was not weaker than Solitaire. It's not that easy to kill me. Although his strength had dropped to the peak yin-yang realm, Sichu Zheng was not worried at all. Instead, he snorted and said, I'll let you know that even if I can only unleash the strength of a peak yin-yang realm, killing you is as easy as killing a lamb. Is that so? As soon as Sichu Zheng finished speaking, 2 voices rang out beside his ears. When he heard the 2 familiar voices, despair appeared on Sichu Zheng's face. It was obvious that the arrival of the Dark Emperor and the Red Demon Sword meant that Sichu Lei was likely to be killed. Hiss. As expected, Sichu Zheng turned his head and saw Sichu Lei lying on the ground. His aura had dropped to a freezing point. Black evil monster, save me. Sichu Zheng was a flexible person. If it was just Ningyu alone, he could still hold on for a minute. But now, there were 3 powerful people. No, it should be 2 people and a black dog. Damn it. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.